Hey, what's up everyone? If you're digging this story, smash that like button and subscribe. Let me know where and what time you're tuning in from. The year is 1985. You wake in a familiar, dark pipe. A deep iron tang reminds you of damp metal and forgotten tunnels. Your head aches. A dull throb, a common companion to these disorienting transitions. You push up, rough, cold metal pressing against your heavy overalls, a shiver down your spine. Your eyes adjust, straining against stubborn gloom. Faint, sickly green luminescence filters from an opening above, hinting at the world outside your metal confinement. You grunt, climbing out, sturdy boots finding uneven ground. That's when you smell it. Not just iron, but distinctly earthy, musty, mingled with the cloying sweetness of decaying fungus, a scent that practically announces danger. You take a deeper breath, air thick and heavy, carrying subtle dampness. You step forward, ground crunching loudly beneath your feet. It's not just loose dirt, it's a chaotic mix of small stones and crumbling brick. You look down, countless reddish fragments, scattered like confetti from a violent party. A tremor runs through the ground, then another, making you instinctively widen your stance, distributing your weight, always ready. You reach out, gloved fingers brushing a moss-covered wall, ancient mortar soft and yielding. You feel a loose brick shift, sending a tiny gritty shower of red dust onto your knuckles, emphasizing the decay. Then you hear it. A low, guttural rumble vibrates powerfully through the ground, through your boots, straight up your legs and into your chest. It's not an impersonal earthquake. This sound is unmistakably alive, fraught with predatory intent. The sound thickens, growing louder, becoming a distinct, agitated growl, much closer than you'd prefer. You freeze, breath-catching, heart quickening its insistent pace, an electrifying surge of adrenaline flushing your veins. Your eyes dart frantically to the impenetrable shadows ahead, desperately trying to pierce the gloom, searching for the source. The growl intensifies, morphing into short, sharp barks, punctuated by the distinct, heavy shuffle of something small and undeniably determined approaching, scraping against loose bricks. You clench your fists, muscles tensing, every fiber coiled and ready for confrontation. You know this sound. You know exactly what's coming, how this scene plays out. Your mind races, assessing the sparse surroundings, looking for any small advantage, a higher ledge, a hidden corner. The growling stops abruptly, replaced by a sudden, unnerving, quick scuttling sound that makes your scalp prickle. You brace yourself, a deep, practiced breath, filling your lungs, preparing your body for exertion. It's always something, isn't it? Every single day, a new challenge, a fresh threat, lurking beyond the next crumbling wall. You never truly get a moment to stand still and enjoy the quiet, simple peace. It makes you wonder how long you can truly keep this up, this constant readiness, this endless, unyielding cycle of reaction. How many times can you bounce back? The scuttling sound is impossibly close now, a dry, grating rustle on the dusty, crumbling brick, making your skin crawl. You feel a sudden draft of foul, damp air, heavy with the scent of mildew and something else, something distinctly unwholesome, like a breath exhaled from the very deepest, darkest shadows. Then, from the oppressive gloom, a silhouette materializes with startling speed. It's short, squat, with that unmistakable domed mushroom-like cap, and a pair of tiny, stubby feet already shuffling aggressively towards you. Those wide, beady eyes, black as polished obsidian and gleaming with simple, unwavering hostility, lock onto yours from across the meager distance. The air around it, already thick with decay, feels charged and heavy, pulsating with its immediate, primal intent to simply barrel into you. You don't have a single second for a conscious thought. It's pure, ingrained instinct that snaps into action, taking over every muscle fiber. Your heavy, mud-splattered boots leave the ground in a rapid, almost explosive motion, a sudden, powerful burst of energy propelling your entire body upward. Your knees pull tight towards your chest, legs tucked compactly beneath you, and for a fleeting, gravity-defying moment, you hang suspended in the stale air, a brief, exhilarating defiance against the constant pull that usually pins you to this perilous world. The wind of your own movement rushes past your face, cool and sharp, a fleeting whisper against your mustache, an almost imperceptible calm before the inevitable jarring impact. Then, a powerful, deeply satisfying thump. You feel the sharp, precise jolt travel from the soles of your boots up through your legs and deep into your very core, a visceral confirmation of contact. There's the soft, yielding crunch of its form beneath your sturdy sole, a sensation you've grown disturbingly accustomed to. A tiny, almost pathetic squeal, a sound of surprise and instant defeat, is abruptly cut short as you land firmly, almost silently, your heavy boots sending a small cloud of red-brown dust puffing up around you. The ground itself seems to tremble faintly beneath you from the subtle reverberation of your landing. You glance down. It's gone, dissolved as if by magic into a small, sad heap of fine brown dust, quickly absorbed by the ancient brick, leaving behind only a few scattered, gleaming coins. They shimmer with a faint, ephemeral light, winking out of existence almost as soon as they appear, a ghostly echo of reward. The sudden quiet that follows the brief, violent outburst is almost deafening, a stark, unsettling contrast to the preceding tension and noise. Your heart is still thrumming wildly against your ribs, a rapid, insistent drumbeat echoing in your ears. The bitter, metallic taste of adrenaline coats the back of your throat, a familiar, invigorating morning brew that never quite lets you fully relax, jump-starting your senses, whether you like it or not. You wipe a bead of sweat from your brow with the back of your gloved hand, the rough red fabric of your overalls, a comforting, familiar presence. The sickly green luminescence still filters down from somewhere high above, casting long, dancing shadows that seem to mock the brevity and futility of your victory. You scan the uneven pathway ahead, noticing more crumbling bricks, more obscured alcoves, more potential hiding spots for the next inevitable threat. This brief, violent encounter is definitively over, but the path stretches on, long and unforgiving, twisting deeper into the unknown. It's not just about the specific fight, is it? It's about the constant, unending cycle, the waking, the navigating, the swift, violent bursts of action, then the uneasy calm before the next storm inevitably breaks. It makes you wonder sometimes if you're slowly becoming as predictable in your reactions as the creatures you face are in their attacks. This endless loop of peril and survival, it doesn't just happen to you. You press your shoulder into the cool, relentless curve of the pipe. It's not just cold. It's a penetrating, damp chill that seems to leach the warmth right out of your bones, seeping through your thick denim and flannel. Your hand brushes against the interior, finding it coated in a fine, almost slimy layer of moisture, a constant condensation that clings to everything. The air itself holds a heavy, metallic tang, laced with the deep, fertile scent of wet earth. A smell so pervasive it feels like an old friend, or perhaps an old captor. You hear the faint, rhythmic drip, drip, drip of water somewhere deeper within the structure, an endless, monotonous percussion that marks the passage of time in this subterranean world. You let your fingers trace the rough seams where the colossal sections of pipe connect, feeling the minor imperfections, the slight shifts that speak of immense pressure and countless journeys. It's an enclosed world, this pipe, a cylindrical tunnel of artificial light and natural darkness, always propelling you onward, even when you stand still. You feel the faint, almost imperceptible vibration under your boots, a low thrum that resonates deep in your chest. a constant companion on these long traverses. It's not the frantic thumping of an approaching enemy, nor the violent tremor of a collapsing structure. This is something slower, grander. It's the silent, insistent heartbeat of the world around you, a geological pulse. You lean closer to the cold metal, pressing an ear against its surface. The hum intensifies slightly, a deep, resonant whisper from the earth itself. It's a symphony of distant tectonic plates shifting, of subterranean rivers carving ancient pathways, of roots pushing through soil, of unseen caverns breathing. It's a sound that reminds you of the immense, untamed power existing just beyond the artificial confines of this metal conduit. The pipe itself feels like a giant ear pressed to the world, amplifying its deepest secrets. You pull back, a faint echo of the vibration still tingling in your ear. Your gaze sweeps along the dim interior, catching the glint of residual moisture, the occasional patch of stubborn moss clinging to a crack. You realize how much time you spend within these hollow spaces, transported from one perilous landscape to the next. The pipe is a lifeline, a shortcut, a momentary sanctuary, but it's also a constant reminder of the unseen, immense forces at play. You sometimes wonder if the very fabric of these pipes is woven from the same restless energy, a perpetual motion machine that connects disparate realities, moving you from one challenge to the next with relentless efficiency. This strange, persistent hum of the earth, felt through the cold metal, makes you realize something profound. Even when you're enclosed, protected, you are never truly separate from the world's deep, powerful rhythm. You're always connected, always a part of its silent, grand narrative, just moving through a small, man-made channel. Your own journey, your endless striving, feels like a tiny vibrating echo of that larger, unceasing movement. You are a passenger, yes, but also a participant, perpetually carried forward by forces far greater than yourself, whether you fight them or flow with them. The air in this cavern is thick, almost chewable, carrying a faint, acrid scent of sulfur mingled heavily with wet stone, and an undercurrent of something deeply metallic. You step out of the pipe, your heavy, mud-caked boots landing with an unnaturally soft thud on damp, uneven earth. A stark, muffled contrast to the hard, metallic echo of moments ago. Overhead, massive, jagged rock formations loom, like forgotten teeth of some ancient, buried beast, creating a ceiling lost in an ocean of impenetrable shadow. Your eyes strain, fighting a losing battle against the pervasive, oppressive gloom. It feels less like mere darkness and more like a physical, suffocating presence. A heavy cloak that wraps around you, absorbing every stray photon. The few scattered patches of bioluminescent moss offer only a weak, sickly green glow, barely enough to illuminate the immediate ground beneath your boots. They seem less like a comfort and more like tiny, desperate acts of defiance against the overwhelming blackness, flickering erratically, like dying embers gasping for breath. You start moving forward, slowly, cautiously, your gloved hand occasionally brushing against the cold, rough rock face, feeling its slick, unyielding texture. Each careful step sends a soft, sucking sound from the damp earth, and then echoes unnaturally, bouncing off unseen surfaces, creating a distorted, mocking symphony of your tentative progress. You press your lips together, hearing your own breathing, suddenly too loud in the profound silence. You try desperately to discern shapes in the dark, but it's a constant, frustrating effort, like grasping smoke. Your peripheral vision plays disorienting tricks, hinting at movements where there are none, sending phantom shivers down your spine. The air here is noticeably colder than in the pipe, a biting, constant chill that seeps into your bones, making your breath mist visibly before vanishing into the vast, consuming void. You pull your cap down tighter, a small, futile gesture against the vastness and the unknown. It's an environment that strips away the familiar, leaving you with heightened senses, but also a deep, gnawing vulnerability. Ahead, through the oppressive air, you spot a strange, pulsating glow, a beacon of sorts, but one that seems to struggle, its internal light flickering erratically, as if gasping for air. As you draw closer, the faint, struggling light reveals enormous, bulbous fungi, stretching towards the unseen ceiling, like grotesque, pale, subterranean trees. Their surfaces pulse with a dim radiance, a faint, almost heartbreaking light that barely pushes back the encroaching shadows. But the shadows here are insatiably greedy. They seem to cling to the very edges of the light, always threatening to swallow it whole, like a living entity. You notice some glowing fungi are oddly dim, almost completely dark, appearing like shriveled husks, as if their inner light has been actively drained away. The air immediately surrounding these deadened fungi feels even colder, heavier, devoid of even that meager warmth. It's as if the darkness here isn't just an absence of light, but an active, consuming force, stealing brilliance and life, leaving only emptiness in its wake. You look around at the struggling light, the encroaching, devouring dark. This isn't just a place. It's a battle playing out on a grand scale, one that mirrors your own daily existence. You are always bringing your own small light, your own brief moments of clarity and decisive action, into a reality that often feels determined to extinguish it, to pull you down into its boundless gloom. You keep moving, keep pushing forward, not because the light is strong or guaranteed, but because you stubbornly refuse to let the darkness fully claim its permanent victory. You push through a curtain of damp hanging moss, the fibers brushing cold and wet against your face, carrying the earthy scent of something vital, something growing with an almost frantic energy. Ahead, nestled in a small, damp alcove carved into the cavern wall, a mushroom glows, but it's not the same sickly, struggling light of the others. This one pulses, a steady, rhythmic throb, like a tiny, urgent heart beating within its cap. The air around it feels oddly warm, a stark contrast to the biting chill of the cavern, and there's a faint, sweet aroma, like caramelized sugar mixed with fresh rain, that pulls you closer, a potent, almost irresistible allure. You reach out, your gloved fingers brushing against its smooth, slightly rubbery cap. It's surprisingly firm yet soft, radiating a gentle warmth that quickly spreads through your palm, up your arm, a pleasant current against the chill. As your touch lingers, the pulsing intensifies, humming softly against your skin, a vibration that feels deeply resonant, almost familiar. There's a sudden, almost imperceptible shift in the air, a quick, invigorating rush that washes over you, leaving a tingling sensation, like 1,000 tiny needles of pure energy dancing across your skin. You feel a surge, a powerful, expanding warmth bloom deep in your chest, growing rapidly, not uncomfortably hot, but intensely vibrant, a living fire awakening within you. It's an undeniable change, a fundamental alteration, a new kind of power now simmering just beneath your skin. Your overalls feel a little tighter, the fabric seeming to stretch against a newfound inner dynamism. Just as this new sensation settles, a rustling sound erupts from the shadows. Not the low growl of before, but a quick, dry scuttling, followed by the distinctive, clacking sound of hard shell on damp stone. A creature emerges, its green carapace gleaming dully, its determined eyes fixed on you. It pulls its head and limbs into its shell, beginning its inevitable frantic spin towards you, a green blur gathering speed. This time, you don't leap. You don't need to. Instinct takes over, guided by that new, vibrant warmth. You feel a sudden, intense concentration of heat in your fingertips, like a tiny sun held just beneath your glove. With a swift, almost unconscious flick of your wrist, you unleash it. A small, brilliant ball of pure, incandescent flame bursts forth from your hand, searing the cold air, smelling faintly of sulfur and something intensely clean, like ozone after lightning. It hurtles through the dim cavern with surprising speed, a fiery orange comet against the oppressive green glow. The fireball connects with a sharp, crackling hiss against the spinning shell, instantly incinerating it, leaving behind only a fleeting wisp of smoke and a small, lingering scent of burnt matter that quickly dissipates into the damp air. The enemy is gone. Not merely defeated, but erased, transformed into nothingness by this sudden, potent burst. You look at your hand, still feeling the residual warmth, a faint tremor of power still coursing through your veins. This isn't brute strength, or the practiced art of a jump. This is something else entirely. A tool, a weapon, a sudden, explosive extension of your will. It's an exhilarating, dangerous gift. You realize that these temporary transformations aren't just about gaining a new ability. They're about momentarily becoming something more, something different, something capable of a kind of destructive beauty you didn't possess moments before. The fire's kiss, it burns, yes, but it also cleanses, clears the path, and for a brief, powerful moment makes you feel utterly invincible. It makes you wonder how much of your own strength comes from within, and how much is granted, fleetingly, by the world itself. The lingering heat in your palm, a ghost of the fire you just unleashed, still tingles. You inhale deeply, the air around you now sharp with the faint, metallic scent of ozone. A stark contrast to the earlier damp earth and sulfur. A strange, invigorating energy still courses through your veins, a powerful hum that settles just beneath your skin. It's a feeling of undeniable potency, a brief moment where the cavern's oppressive chill and pervasive gloom seem to momentarily recoil from your enhanced presence. You look at your gloved hands, feeling a subtle warmth radiating from them, a faint, almost imperceptible shimmer around your fingers. You flex them, a new confidence stirring in your chest. You push forward, your heavy boots crunching softly on the damp ground. Ahead, the path narrows, blocked by a stack of ancient crumbling bricks, their surfaces slick with moisture and crawling with iridescent moss. These aren't the kind you can simply jump over. They form a solid, frustrating barrier. You feel that surge of energy again, the familiar concentration of heat building rapidly in your fingertips, like a tiny forge roaring to life. Without a second thought, you unleash another fiery projectile. The air crackles, a small, bright orange sphere of pure, contained heat leaping from your hand. It arcs through the gloom with an almost elegant trajectory, a fleeting, brilliant star against the cavern's eternal night. Impact. A sudden, sharp explosion of light and sound. The fireball meets the bricks with a violent, satisfying C-rack, instantly vaporizing the stone, turning it into a cloud of steaming dust and scattered fragments that rain down around you. For a precious few seconds, the entire alcove is bathed in a warm, flickering orange glow. You see details previously swallowed by shadow. Ancient water streaks down the cavern walls, crystalline formations gleaming in the brief, fierce light. Even the tiny, struggling bioluminescent moss on the far wall seems to brighten, as if grateful for the borrowed warmth. The heat washes over your face, a welcome, intense flush against the persistent cold, before quickly dissipating. The scent of burnt earth and superheated stone hangs heavy, a stark, powerful perfume of destruction and creation. But as the echoes of the small explosion fade, so too does the warmth. The vibrant orange on your overalls, which felt so intensely bright moments ago, subtly dims, losing its vivid edge. The peculiar warmth in your hands recedes, replaced by the familiar bite of the cavern's cold. The tingling sensation on your skin diminishes, becoming just a memory. The fleeting glow within you, that powerful, burning core, dwindles, softening into a faint ember, then winking out entirely. The oppressive gloom, momentarily pushed back, seems to surge forward, reclaiming the space with renewed hunger, its heavy presence settling back onto your shoulders like a familiar, unwelcome cloak. The cavern returns to its muted greens and impenetrable blacks, the brief, brilliant blaze now just a memory, a flash in the vast, unending darkness. You sigh, a puff of visible breath quickly snatched by the cold air. The power, you realize, is a transient thing, a fleeting gift from a magical mushroom. It doesn't last. It burns bright, it clears the path, it offers a moment of exhilarating, almost godlike strength, but then it's gone. You are left once again with just yourself, your boots, your overalls, your own two hands, and the stubborn, persistent will to keep moving. The true battle isn't just against the enemies you face, or the obstacles that block your path, but against the sheer, relentless weariness that comes from knowing every advantage is temporary, every burst of power finite. You have to keep pushing, keep finding new ways, because the path ahead doesn't care if you're tired or if your fire has gone out. It simply demands you continue. The air hits you first, a blast of intense, dry heat that pulls at the moisture in your lungs, making you cough instinctively. It carries the sharp, acrid scent of sulfur and burnt rock, a smell that clings to your nostrils dry and choking, utterly unlike the damp earth and mildew you've grown accustomed to. You step out of the pipe, your boots finding solid, unforgiving ground. It's not crumbly brick or soft soil here, but a jagged, dark stone, hot to the touch, even through your thick soles. You can feel the intense, radiating warmth seeping up, a constant, uncomfortable pressure against your feet. You look around. The cavern here is vast, cathedral-like, but instead of the dim greens and blues of bioluminescence, everything is bathed in an infernal, pulsing red glow. It's not a consistent light. It flickers erratically, casting grotesque, dancing shadows that stretch and shrink like living things. Your eyes struggle to adjust to the overwhelming crimson, the oppressive light, making the air itself seem to shimmer and distort, warping your perception of distance. Massive, dark pillars of volcanic rock jut from the floor and ceiling, looking like petrified giants reaching for a sky that will never come, their surfaces etched with jagged, crystalline veins that glint a sinister obsidian. You reach out, your gloved hand brushing against a pillar. The stone is incredibly rough, almost abrasive, and scorching hot, quickly forcing you to pull your hand back. You see fine lines of ash and soot clinging to every crevice, testament to countless past infernos. A low, constant rumble vibrates through the floor, a deep, persistent tremor that resonates in your chest, a new kind of heartbeat for this fiery realm. It's not the earth's gentle whisper from the pipes, or the growl of an immediate threat. This is a profound, geological groan, a sound that speaks of immense forces churning just beneath your feet. You squint, trying to see the source of the light. Far in the distance, a colossal lava fall cascades down a sheer rock face, a river of molten orange and red, flowing into a churning, bubbling lake of fire. The distant roar, a continuous, powerful symphony of superheated rock and exploding gases, rolls across the vast chamber, echoing off the ancient stone, a truly terrifying sound that rattles your very bones. It's the sound of creation and destruction intertwined, an elemental force that makes the air thrum with raw, untamed power. You press a hand against your sternum, feeling the tremor within you, matching the deep vibrations of the ground. It's unnerving. This scale of power, so much larger than any single Goomba or Koopa. The heat presses in, making you feel claustrophobic despite the cavern's immense size, drying your mouth and making your skin feel tight. You glance towards the lava fall again, its distant roar, a constant, unavoidable reminder of the immense, burning world you've entered. There's a strange, almost hypnotic beauty to the destructive power, but also an overwhelming sense of insignificance. You're just a small figure in overalls, a fleeting presence in a landscape that devours and remakes itself with terrifying indifference. This place, with its scorched stone and distant roar, makes you realize something new about your journey. It's not just about overcoming individual threats or navigating diverse environments. It's about facing the sheer, indifferent scale of the world itself. A world that keeps throwing you into bigger, more primal challenges. You adapt, you fight, you use the tools you find, but ultimately, you are just a tiny, persistent spark against a backdrop of truly colossal, untamed power. And you have to keep moving, even as the ground trembles beneath you, even as the distant roar promises something far more dangerous than anything you faced before. This isn't just a path. It's a test of your very essence to see if you can hold your own against the elemental fury of the world. The heat here isn't just dry. It's a suffocating, stagnant blanket, pressing in from all sides, carrying a new, unsettling smell. Not purely sulfur, but something metallic and stale, like rusted iron mixed with forgotten dried blood. You push through a narrow gap between two jagged rock formations, the stone hot and rough against your overalls, scraping a thin layer of grit onto the fabric. The roar of the distant lava fall, once a terrifying presence, now seems muted, distorted, swallowed by the twisting passages around you. All you hear is the relentless rush of your own blood in your ears, amplified by the oppressive silence of this confined space. Your lungs ache with every shallow breath. You're in a maze, an impossible network of identical-looking corridors, carved from the same dark, infernally hot stone. Each turn looks exactly like the last, an endless series of false promises. You try to remember which way you came, which path you chose, but the layout seems to actively defy recall, shifting and blurring in your mind. You press a hand against the scorching wall, feeling the sheer, unyielding hardness, the solid permanence of your entrapment. There are no distinguishable landmarks, no unique moss patches, no peculiar rock formations to guide you. Every passage forks, every junction leads to another identical choice, mocking your sense of direction, slowly chipping away at your resolve. You spin slowly on your heel, scanning the labyrinthine curves, feeling a cold knot of dread tightening in your stomach. It's a deliberate design, this confusion, a trap not just for your body, but for your mind. You pick a path, striding forward with determined steps, but after what feels like minutes, you find yourself staring at the exact same cluster of three small, heat-cracked stones you swore you passed an hour ago. A frustrated grunt escapes your lips. You backtrack, then try another route, moving faster now, a desperate, rising urgency pushing you forward. The air seems to get thicker, heavier, clinging to your skin, making your movements feel sluggish, as if you're wading through molasses. You wipe sweat from your brow, feeling it sting your eyes. A flicker in your peripheral vision, a shadowy movement at the edge of your sight, makes you whip your head around, but there's nothing there. Just more identical, oppressive walls, bathed in the same dull, pulsing red glow that seems to absorb all hope. The only thing you can be certain of is the searing heat under your boots, a constant, physical reminder of your predicament. You lean against a pillar, your breath ragged, the metallic taste of exhaustion in your mouth. The walls feel like they're closing in, not physically, but psychologically, compressing your thoughts, squeezing out any spark of clarity. This isn't a challenge you can jump over or blast away. This is a slow, relentless grind against your will, a test of endurance and sanity. You find yourself wondering if there's even an end to this place, or if it's just an infinite loop, designed to break you down, piece by agonizing piece. You close your eyes for a moment, the crimson light still burning behind your eyelids. Being truly lost, without any sense of progress or direction, changes you. It strips away the confidence that comes from facing clear threats and makes you question every decision, every instinct. You realize that sometimes the greatest enemy isn't a monstrous beast or a towering obstacle, but the insidious, quiet despair that settles in when you can't even tell if you're moving forward or just walking in circles, trapped within the endless, unyielding walls of your own futility. This labyrinth isn't just trying to stop you, it's trying to make you give up, to simply lie down and let the heat consume you. And the hardest part is fighting that feeling, that chilling whisper in your mind that tells you to just stop, that it doesn't matter anymore. A faint, impossible sound breaks through the suffocating, stale heat. It's a clean, bright clink, unmistakably metallic, cutting through the oppressive silence of the labyrinth like a sliver of ice. You whip your head around, eyes frantically scanning the identical, scorch-marked stone walls. Your mind trying to process this anomaly in the ceaseless, red-tinged gloom. The labyrinth has been a test of endurance, a slow grind against despair, but this sound, this is different. It's a whisper of something familiar, something that almost feels like a promise. A tiny spark of curiosity igniting in your weary mind. You press a hand against the hot, rough stone, feeling the faint tremor of your own exhausted body. But the sound, you realize, isn't a vibration in the rock. It's an acoustic beacon. The clink comes again, clearer this time, a precise, bell-like ring that seems to hover just out of reach. It pulls at something deep inside you, a primal instinct to pursue, to find the source of such a distinct, intriguing noise in this desolate place. You push off the wall, your heavy boots scuffing on the gritty floor, and begin to move, faster than you thought you had energy for, following the alluring sound. You pick a direction, and then another, each choice feeling less like a guess and more like an instinctive pull. Your breath comes in ragged gasps, the dry air burning your throat, but the insistent, guiding clink is all that matters now, a delicate, precious thread leading you deeper into the maze, yet promising a way out. Finally, after navigating what feels like an eternity of twisting corridors, you see it. Hovering impossibly in the air, a single, glowing cube, its surface adorned with a bold, familiar question mark. The clink emanates directly from it, a silent invitation, a beacon of hope in this otherwise hopeless expanse. You feel a surge of energy, a renewed sense of purpose, ignoring the burning in your muscles, the exhaustion in your bones. With a grunt, you leap, a powerful, practiced spring from your sturdy legs, your gloved hand reaching high, a brief, triumphant defiance against the ever-present gravity. Your fist connects with the underside of the block. A deeply satisfying triding echoes through the cavern, a joyful chime that resonates with a strange sense of accomplishment. Then, with a cascade of shimmering light and sound, a shower of golden coins rains down, each one striking the hot stone with its own delicate, metallic clink before winking out of existence. You watch them fall, a brief, glittering torrent, feeling a fleeting, almost addictive rush of satisfaction, a small burst of triumph. You scoop at the air, trying to catch them, feeling a fleeting coolness against your skin before they vanish. The heat and the endless labyrinth are still here, but for a split second, you've earned something, gained a brief, tangible reward for your persistence. The glow fades, the clinks stop, and the cube, now empty and dull, hovers silently. The momentary euphoria, the brief illusion of triumph, quickly dissipates, leaving you with the same suffocating heat, the same confusing passages. Yet the memory of that clink, the feeling of brief reward, still lingers, a faint echo in your mind. It makes you wonder about the nature of these fleeting treasures. Are they truly a measure of progress, or just clever distractions, tiny carrots on an impossibly long stick? You realize that sometimes the whispers of want, the allure of these small, tangible gains, are what truly keep you moving, pushing you through the seemingly endless and indifferent journey, even when the bigger picture remains frustratingly out of sight. It's a strange, compelling motivator, this chase for the next satisfying clink, a testament to the power of tiny hopes in a vast, overwhelming world. The metallic clink from the question block, a fleeting joy, has vanished into the suffocating heat of the labyrinth. You stand there, hands still slightly raised from the jump, feeling the lingering phantom tingle of the vanished coins on your palm. The oppressive silence returns, heavier now, filled with the faint, unsettling smell of heated rock and your own labored breathing. The labyrinth stretches before you, an endless, repeating pattern of red-tinged stone. You know with a deep, weary certainty that those coins, those tiny, shimmering rewards, are never truly enough. They're a momentary respite, a fleeting assurance that for now, you're still in the game, still capable of pushing forward, but the clock is always ticking, silently, relentlessly. You feel a subtle, nagging emptiness, a cold void in your gut that isn't hunger, but something far more fundamental. It's the constant, unspoken pressure of your own existence in this bizarre, dangerous world. Every step you take, every enemy you face, every mistake you avoid, it all costs something. And those coins, those small golden glimmers, they are the precarious currency of your survival. You press your gloved hand against your chest, feeling the heavy thump of your heart, a steady, insistent beat that reminds you of the precious, finite nature of your own life force. A shiver, completely unrelated to the searing heat of the cavern, runs down your spine. Your eyes scan the oppressive walls, a desperate, almost automatic search for the next glowing block, the next potential source of those vital golden circles. It's a primal urge, an unceasing hunt. You remember the times you've fallen, the sharp, stinging pain, the sudden, disorienting loss of precious coins scattering away from you, vanishing as quickly as they appeared. It's not just a numerical reduction, it's a visceral sensation, like a part of you being stripped away, a small piece of your future evaporating with each lost coin. And the knowledge that hitting 100 of those ephemeral tokens grants you an extra chance, another precious breath, another leap against certain doom, that knowledge hangs heavy over every choice, every risk you consider. It's an economy of dread, where your life itself is traded for tiny, fleeting golden discs. You start to move again, your heavy boots scuffing on the gritty floor, the movement almost mechanical now. Your gaze is sharp, honed by endless repetition, always seeking the subtle irregularities in the oppressive landscape, the faint shimmer that hints at another hidden block, another chance at a small, necessary gain. The heat presses in, making your overalls feel like a second skin, heavy and constricting. You push through it, the burn in your muscles, a constant companion, the dry, metallic taste of exhaustion, a familiar flavor on your tongue. The anticipation of the next to clink, the potential for more coins, becomes a tiny, persistent hum in the background of your thoughts, a low, driving force propelling you onward, even as the labyrinth seems to swallow your energy whole. This constant pursuit of small, shimmering tokens, this precarious economy of survival, it teaches you a hard truth. It's not just about heroics or grand adventures. It's about the grinding, relentless effort of simply staying afloat, of accumulating just enough to counter the inevitable losses, to buy yourself another moment, another breath, in a world that constantly demands everything. You realize you're caught in a cycle, perpetually earning, perpetually losing, perpetually needing. And sometimes, the most profound weariness isn't from the battles you fight, but from the unending, quiet pressure of knowing that your very existence is balanced on the sharp, delicate edge of a single, vanishing coin. You are a tireless machine, fueled by small, golden hopes, in a world designed to drain you dry. One moment, your heavy boot is finding purchase on the gritty, infernally hot stone of the labyrinth. The next, there's nothing. The ground beneath you simply ceases to exist, dissolving into a chilling, absolute void. A sharp, guttural cry tears from your throat, instantly snatched away by the sudden, overwhelming rush of wind that screams past your ears. It's not just a breeze, it's a deafening, cold torrent, whipping at your cap, tearing at your mustache, forcing your eyelids to squint against the sheer force. Your stomach lurches violently, a sickening, free-fall sensation that leaves you breathless, feeling like your insides are trying to escape through your throat. The pulsing red glow of the cavern, a constant, oppressive presence moments ago, shrinks with terrifying speed, becoming a rapidly diminishing dot above you. It's quickly swallowed by an inky blackness, a profound, consuming darkness that seems to absorb all light, all hope, all sound, leaving you in an unnerving, echoing silence broken only by the frantic drumming of your own heart against your ribs. You flail, arms and legs churning uselessly against nothing but cold, empty air, your heavy overalls flapping wildly around you like a frantic, confused flag. There's no purchase, no resistance, just the relentless, accelerating pull of gravity. You try to gasp, to draw a deep breath, but the air itself feels impossibly thin, stealing the oxygen right from your chest, leaving a burning, choking ache in your lungs. It's a physical compression, a profound emptiness that makes your entire body ache for solidity, for ground, for anything to cling to. You taste dust, a lingering memory from the cavern, mixed with the metallic tang of fear and adrenaline. The sensation of falling intensifies, a dizzying tumble through a void that seems to stretch on forever, an unfathomable abyss with no visible bottom, no end in sight. You close your eyes tightly, but it makes no difference. The blackness is just as absolute behind your eyelids, an internal echo of the external void. Disorientation sets in, a sickening twist in your perception of up and down, left and right. All that matters is the chilling, unceasing descent, the terrifying realization that you are utterly, completely without control, a powerless speck in an endless fall. Each passing second stretches into an eternity, filled with the terrifying anticipation of an impact that may never come, or may come with devastating finality. A distant sound begins to emerge from the profound silence below, a faint, eerie gurgle, followed by a soft, almost imperceptible splash. It's a sound that brings a new wave of dread, a different kind of terrifying unknown, replacing the fear of solid impact. The air around you, impossibly cold now, seems to intensify with moisture, carrying a faint, cloying scent of stagnant water and something else, something alive, ancient, and deeply unsettling. You open your eyes, desperate to pierce the absolute blackness, but there's nothing, only the unending dark, broken by the occasional phantom flicker of a non-existent light. This is it then. Not a fight you can win, not a puzzle you can solve, not a path you can navigate. Just this, the endless, choking plunge into the unknown. It makes you realize how fragile everything truly is, how quickly all your efforts, all your strength, all your meticulously gathered coins can be rendered utterly meaningless by a single, unexpected misstep. Your daily life, your entire existence, is a constant tightrope walk over countless hidden abysses, where every seemingly solid surface is just another breath away from vanishing, leaving you to fall, powerless, into the crushing, indifferent void. It's a sobering thought, this reminder that ultimate control is an illusion, and beneath every triumph, every hard-won step, there's always the gaping, silent maw of the abyss, waiting patiently to reclaim you. The chilling, empty plunge ends with a violent, jarring impact. The water hits you like a solid, unyielding wall, knocking the last desperate breath from your lungs. It's not just cold. It's an immediate, all-consuming shock that clamps down on every nerve, stealing your warmth, making your muscles seize. A searing, burning pain erupts in your chest as frigid water rushes into your mouth, into your nose, stealing the air you so desperately fought for. You instinctively gag, your body convulsing, and a torrent of bubbles, precious stolen air streams upward, carrying away your last hope of breath. Your heavy overalls, once a comforting weight, now become a leaden shroud, dragging you down, relentlessly pulling you deeper into the suffocating abyss. You thrash, a frantic, desperate struggle against the overwhelming pressure, your limbs moving sluggishly, inefficiently, as if in a nightmare. Everything is a murky, indistinct blur of deep green and impenetrable shadow. The sound is completely alien, a profound, heavy silence broken only by the muffled roar of blood in your ears and the distant, distorted echoes of your own panicked heartbeats. Your vision strains, trying to pierce the gloom, but the water itself feels thick, almost opaque, obscuring all but the faintest, ghostly shapes. You spin, disoriented, unable to tell which way is up, which way is down, your internal compass utterly useless in this alien liquid world. The intense pressure builds around your head, a dull ache that promises to split your skull, and your lungs scream, a desperate primal need for oxygen, for air, for release from this watery prison. Then, from the absolute blackness below, tiny glimmers begin to appear, not solid lights, but shifting, ethereal specks, like microscopic stars drifting through the inky deep. They pulse with a faint, ghostly blue, moving with an eerie, silent grace, completely unconcerned by your desperate struggle. As you drift, slowly sinking, one of these glimmers passes unnervingly close, and you catch a brief, unsettling glimpse of something small, bioluminescent, with multiple, delicate tendrils. It's beautiful, in a terrifying, otherworldly way, a creature perfectly adapted to this sunless realm that is actively trying to kill you. The sight reminds you, with a sickening clarity, of just how utterly out of place you are here, a clumsy, land-bound interloper in a world not meant for breathing men. A sharp, almost imperceptible current tugs at your leg, pulling you subtly sideways, and you sense, rather than see, a colossal, unseen mass moving slowly in the deeper gloom below you. It's not a direct threat, not a creature hunting you, but an overwhelming presence, a leviathan of the deep, a living shadow that makes your blood run cold, even in the frigid water. The sheer scale of it, felt through the water's vibrations, is terrifying, a chilling reminder of the vast, unknown dangers lurking in these abyssal waters. You kick, with what little strength you have left, fighting the current, trying to propel yourself towards a faint, almost invisible patch of lighter murk above, a distant, shimmering hint of the surface. This is a different kind of fight, isn't it? Not against a growling creature or a crumbling brick, but against the raw, indifferent elements themselves, against your own failing body, against the profound, terrifying silence of the deep. You're not just trying to survive. You're battling for every single breath, for every single beat of your heart, in a world that doesn't care if you live or die. And as you claw your way upward, towards that elusive glimmer of surface light, you realize that true vulnerability isn't just about facing powerful enemies, but about being stripped of your most basic needs, about struggling for the very air that sustains you. The world explodes in blinding white heat. One moment, the deep, suffocating chill of water. The next, a searing, all-encompassing furnace. You cough, a dry, rasping sound that scrapes your throat raw, inhaling air that feels like it's been preheated in a brick oven. Your heavy, water-soaked overalls instantly become an unbearable, clinging shroud, the fabric sticking to your skin, radiating the sun's cruel intensity. You stumble, your boots sinking deep into fine, powdery sand that burns through the thick soles, a shock of searing heat that makes you instantly lift your foot, only to put it back down again into the same inferno. The relentless, unforgiving sun beats down from a vast, bleached sky, a malevolent eye that shows no mercy, draining the color from everything, leaving only shades of gold and relentless glare. Your tongue feels like sandpaper, thick and swollen, scraping painfully against the roof of your mouth with every desperate attempt to swallow. A metallic taste, a dry, coppery tang, coats your parched throat. Your lips are cracked, peeling, each subtle movement sending a fresh, stinging sensation across their surface. There's a persistent, dull ache behind your eyes, a direct consequence of the overwhelming brightness, as if your very vision is being baked dry. The air itself feels hungry, snatching any moisture from your skin before it can even form into a bead of sweat, leaving you feeling utterly exposed and utterly drained. You pull your cap down lower, a futile gesture against the sheer, overwhelming power of the sun. The vast, empty expanse of golden dunes stretches to an impossibly distant horizon, shimmering with a dizzying heat haze that warps reality, making the very air dance with mocking illusions. You start to walk, each step a monumental effort as your boots sink and slide in the deep, shifting sand. The heavy fabric of your overalls feels like a portable oven, baking you from the outside in, while your body screams for the relief of water. You push forward, one heavy foot after another, a grim determination etched onto your sun-chapped face, your eyes scanning the endless, undulating landscape for any sign, any distant, dark smudge that might hint at an end to this arid torment. The sand whispers underfoot, a dry, soft hiss that sounds like 1,000 tiny voices mocking your struggle, slowly, relentlessly stealing your energy with every agonizing step. You glance up, squinting through the glare, and the sky seems to expand infinitely, a featureless, indifferent blue dome that offers no shade, no refuge, no comfort. Then, at the edge of your heat-addled vision, it appears, a shimmering sapphire lake, perfectly still, reflecting a lush, green palm tree. Your heart leaps, a sudden desperate surge of hope overriding the exhaustion, propelling you forward with renewed frantic energy. You quicken your pace, a guttural gasp of water escaping your raw throat. You stumble, practically running, the promise of relief, a powerful, almost tangible lure. But as you draw closer, the image wavers, ripples, then simply evaporates into the cruel, dry air, leaving behind only more endless, burning sand. The bitter taste of disappointment, sharp and metallic, mixes with the dust in your mouth. Your shoulders slump, the renewed energy draining from you, leaving you heavier, more exhausted than before. The sun, a silent, mocking witness, continues its relentless assault. This isn't just about fighting monsters or navigating dark caves. This is about the fundamental, raw struggle for existence against an indifferent, hostile world that denies you the most basic elements of life. You realize, with a profound, weary clarity, that sometimes the most insidious challenge isn't a sudden blow or a cunning trap, but the slow, agonizing depletion of your very essence, the quiet desperation of a thirst that refuses to be quenched. The shimmering lake, that cruel sapphire illusion, dissolves again, melting into the brutal, honest glare of the desert. Your raw throat tightens, a fresh wave of disappointment crashing down, heavier than any sandbag, leaving a metallic tang in your mouth that has nothing to do with thirst and everything to do with despair. The sun, a relentless furnace, beats down from the bleached sky, baking the very air you struggle to breathe. Your eyes burn, gritty with sand and exhaustion, and you can almost feel them shrinking, parched and straining against the overwhelming light. Every breath feels like swallowing hot dust, scraping a raw path down your throat, intensifying the desperate, unquenchable thirst that has become your constant, agonizing companion. You keep moving, one heavy leaden boot after another, each step sending up a puff of fine, scorching sand that coats your already sticky overalls. The fabric chafes against your skin, a constant, irritating reminder of the oppressive heat, absorbing moisture faster than your body can produce it. Your calves scream, muscles locked in a constant, burning protest, while your feet feel blistered, raw, each landing a fresh agony. You try to fix your gaze on something, anything, in the vast, empty expanse, but the horizon is a deceptive curve, an endless, unbroken line of golden dunes that promise nothing but more of the same, stretching out under the indifferent sky like a vast, mocking canvas. There are no landmarks, no distant towers, no familiar pipes to guide you, just an infinite, undulating sea of sand. Then, through the shimmering heat haze, you see it again. A distant, dark smudge, something solid, substantial, a relief from the endless gold. It seems to rise, solidify, take on form, a rugged cliff face perhaps, or a cluster of rocks, offering shade, a brief respite. Your weary mind latches onto it, a desperate, irrational surge of hope, propelling you forward. You quicken your pace, a surge of adrenaline momentarily numbing the burning in your muscles, ignoring the painful rasp of your breath. You fix your eyes on the distant shape, refusing to be fooled, willing it to be real, pouring all your remaining willpower into the singular focus of reaching that elusive point. You push, you strain, you force your heavy legs to move faster, even as the sun beats down, relentless, mocking. But as you close the distance, the object begins to waver. The solid lines blur, the dark smudge thins, disperses, becoming transparent, dissolving into the shimmering air as if it were never there. It's another mirage, a cruel trick of the light and the heat, another illusion spawned from your own desperate need. The bitter taste of defeat floods your mouth, sharper, more potent than any physical pain. You stop, your chest heaving, the air thick with the scent of hot sand and your own crushing disappointment. You drop your head, staring at the sand between your boots, the tiny, countless grains that make up this indifferent, endless prison. You know this pattern now, the cycle of false hope and brutal reality. This isn't a challenge you can jump over or fight with a fireball. This is a slow, insidious erosion of your spirit, a relentless assault on your hope, where the greatest enemy is the promise of relief that never materializes. You realize that in this kind of boundless, unchanging landscape, the true cruelty isn't just the physical deprivation, but the psychological torture of an endless horizon that always promises something new, always just beyond reach, yet delivers nothing but more of the same. It makes you wonder if the point isn't to reach an end, but simply to endure the continuous deception, to keep walking even when you know the oasis is a lie, to keep pushing against an infinite, indifferent emptiness, because what else is there to do? A sudden, violent gust of wind whips around you, tearing at your cap, stinging your eyes with fine airborne grit. It's not the dry, hot air of the desert, but a cold, thin current, carrying a faint, clean scent of rain and something else. A vast, empty freshness, an absence of solid things. Your heavy boots find no solid ground, only a precarious, narrow ledge of crumbling gray stone. You stumble, arms flailing, a dizzying panic seizing your gut as you instinctively try to regain your balance. Below you, stretching into an impossibly distant, swirling haze, is nothing. Just sheer, dizzying emptiness, an endless chasm of swirling gray and white, punctuated by jagged, floating rock islands. The roaring silence of the vast, open air swallows any sound you make. leaving only the frantic drumming of your own heart. You crawl forward, pressing your body low against the rough, cold stone, feeling its gritty texture against your palms. Your hands tremble, not just from the chill, but from the profound, vertigo-inducing sensation of being suspended between worlds. A tiny speck, perched precariously over an infinite drop. Your eyes dart nervously to the swirling abyss below, and then to the vast, cloud-filled sky above, a mirror image of the chasm beneath, only lighter, softer. You pull your cap down tighter, trying to anchor yourself, trying to bring some small measure of control to this terrifying exposure. The wind here is a constant, relentless force, a powerful breath from the abyss itself, trying to dislodge you, to reclaim you for the endless fall. Then, you notice them. Not just clouds, but solid-looking platforms, drifting serenely through the expansive, blue-gray sky. They are puffs of pure white, dense and ethereal at the same time, moving with an unnerving, almost leisurely pace. Some are close enough to seem tangible, others are impossibly far, fading into the hazy distance. There's a faint, almost imperceptible hum that emanates from them, a soft, ethereal whisper that seems to call to you, promising escape, promising a path forward through this otherwise impassable void. You watch one float by, just out of reach, and you can almost feel its soft, cool texture, smell the fresh, clean scent of pure water vapor it carries. You take a deep breath, the thin, cold air filling your lungs, sharp and invigorating, a stark contrast to the thick, hot air of the desert. You push yourself up, slowly, cautiously, testing the precarious edge of your platform, feeling the crumbling stone shift slightly under your weight. The chasm below yawns, an endless, terrifying promise of oblivion. The clouds, however, continue their silent, majestic dance, offering a fragile, floating pathway. You know what you have to do. You've jumped across crumbling bricks, over lava pits, from pipe to pipe, but this is different. This is a leap of faith into an endless sky, onto something as ephemeral as a dream. Standing on this narrow, windswept ledge, looking at the silent, whispering clouds, you realize that true courage isn't just about facing visible threats. It's about overcoming the profound, paralyzing fear of absolute emptiness, of stepping out into nothing with only the fragile promise of something unseen to catch you. Your daily life is a continuous series of jumps, each one a gamble against gravity and uncertainty. But here, the stakes feel impossibly higher. It makes you wonder how much of your journey is about actual progress, and how much is simply about the sheer, unwavering will to take that terrifying, impossible leap, again and again, into the vast, indifferent unknown. You stand on the crumbling ledge, the thin, cold air whipping at your overalls, and fix your eyes on the nearest cloud platform. It drifts slowly, serenely, just within reach. Your heart pounds, a frantic drum against your ribs, but your mind is clear, focused. This isn't just a jump, it's a commitment to the void, a full trust in the ethereal. You take a deep, bracing breath, the chill air expanding your lungs, a quick, invigorating surge through your veins. With a powerful, almost desperate push, your heavy boots launch you from the precarious stone, propelling you into the vast, open air. For a terrifying, exhilarating second, you are utterly weightless, suspended between the yawning abyss below and the endless sky above. The wind roars past your ears, a deafening white noise that fills your senses, making the world seem to vanish around you. You stretch your arms out, reaching, clawing at the empty space, fighting against the relentless pull of gravity that threatens to drag you down, down, down into the swirling gray haze. Your eyes are wide, locked onto the approaching cloud, willing it closer, willing your body to cover the impossible distance. The sheer, overwhelming exposure of being so completely ungrounded, so utterly free-falling, sends a fresh wave of primal fear through you, but it's quickly overridden by the fierce, focused determination to make it. Your boots hit the cloud platform with an unnervingly soft, yielding thud. It's not solid rock, not firm ground, but a strange, resilient cushion, like landing on an enormous, impossibly dense pillow. The impact is absorbed, gentle, a complete contrast to the usual jarring landings on hard earth or metal. You stumble slightly, your heavy boots sinking a fraction of an inch into the cloud's fluffy, damp surface before finding purchase. You reach down, your gloved fingers brushing against the cloud itself, feeling its cool, surprisingly tangible texture, like dense cotton, yet somehow firm enough to hold your weight. There's a faint, clean scent, a delicate aroma of fresh rain and ozone that fills your nostrils, a comforting purity in this otherwise treacherous environment. You glance back at the crumbling ledge you just left, already receding into the distance, a small, insignificant point in the vastness. You take another steadying breath, the cold, crisp air filling your lungs, the metallic tang of adrenaline still potent on your tongue. The cloud platform beneath you gently sways, a subtle, almost imperceptible motion that reminds you it's not truly fixed, that this temporary refuge is constantly drifting. You look ahead, seeing more cloud platforms, more floating islands of stone, stretching into the hazy distance, a long, winding path laid out across the sky. Each one promises a continuation of this precarious journey, another leap, another moment of exhilarating suspension between hope and hard earth. The journey isn't just about reaching the destination. It's about the continuous, terrifying, yet strangely liberating act of jumping again and again across the void. You realize, as you stand on this impossibly soft, floating platform, that your life is a series of these leaps. You're always suspended, always pushing off from the known into the unknown, trusting that something will catch you, even if it's just a cloud. It's a constant, active defiance of gravity, of certainty, of the fear that always whispers from the abyss below. The sensation of being airborne, of that brief, terrifying freedom, it makes you feel utterly alive, utterly present. Perhaps that's the true essence of your daily life, not the ground you stand on, but the courage to leave it, to embrace the void, to live suspended between hope and the hard, undeniable reality of the fall. The air around you is thick, with the pervasive smell of ozone and damp earth, a familiar, almost comforting scent after the harshness of the desert and the sterile cold of the sky. You emerge from the pipe, your boots landing with a soft, squelching sound on saturated soil. The light here is muted, filtered through an impossibly dense canopy of colossal, iridescent fungi, casting the forest floor in an otherworldly glow of deep purples and shimmering blues. Massive, gnarled roots, thick as tree trunks, snake across the ground, creating treacherous, uneven pathways. Every surface is coated in a fine, glistening sheen of moisture, making the air heavy and cool against your face. You feel the constant, soft drip of condensation from the fungi overhead, tiny cold kisses on your cap and overalls. Suddenly a sound cuts through the soft rustling of unseen creatures and the gentle drip of water. A distant, yet unmistakable H-amine WWW H-amine, followed by a faint yet familiar yell. It's a sound that makes you freeze, a jolt of recognition shooting through your tired frame. Not a growl, not a splash, but a human exclamation fraught with surprise and a hint of alarm. Your head snaps up, eyes narrowing, scanning the dense undergrowth, trying to pinpoint the source. The air suddenly feels charged, crackling with an unseen energy, carrying a faint, peculiar scent. A blend of something familiar, like old leather and damp grass, mixed with a subtle electric tang. The yell comes again, closer this time, clearer. It's not a shout of pain, but a grunt of effort, followed by another time, heavier, more definitive. You start to move, pushing through tangles of bioluminescent vines that cling to your overalls, their moist tendrils brushing cold against your skin. You navigate the treacherous roots, your heavy boots thudding softly on the spongy ground, your pace quickening. You hear a soft, almost frantic scrambling, the rustle of leaves, then another, louder yell, clearly a male voice. A voice you know, imbued with a distinct, almost comical exasperation. You break through a curtain of shimmering fungal fronds, and there he is, standing amidst a clearing, under a particularly enormous purple-glowing cap, is Luigi. His green cap is slightly askew, his blue overalls splattered with mud, his brow furrowed in concentration, but a familiar, determined glint in his eye. He's facing a low-slung, green-shelled Koopa Troopa that has just righted itself after a botched jump from Luigi. The Koopa is glaring, its beady eyes fixed on Luigi, already starting its slow, deliberate advance. Luigi lets out a frustrated sigh, a puff of visible vapor in the cool, damp air, and shakes his head slightly before squaring his shoulders. He doesn't look around, not yet. His focus is entirely on the slow-moving threat. He adjusts his cap, a small, habitual gesture that speaks volumes of his readiness, his unwavering commitment. You stand there for a moment, unseen, watching him. A wave of something warm and deeply familiar washes over you, a quiet comfort, a profound sense of camaraderie. This shared struggle, this endless journey through strange and dangerous lands, it's not just yours, it's asterisk ours. His presence, his familiar grunts and determined stance, instantly banishes the crushing solitude of the desert, the profound emptiness of the abyss. This is more than just a partner. It's a mirror, a shared burden, a silent understanding. Seeing him here, facing his own challenge, you realize that even in the most desolate or perilous places, the echoes of brotherhood, the quiet, unwavering presence of someone fighting alongside you, is its own powerful, irreplaceable source of strength, a comfort against the world's relentless indifference. You watch him prepare to jump, and a small, knowing smile touches your lips. You watch Luigi. He takes a single, deep breath, his chest expanding under his green overalls. Then he springs. It's a familiar, almost balletic motion. A powerful leap that sends him airborne, his heavy boots tucked precisely, economically. There's a faint, powerful twoosh as he cuts through the damp, mushroom-scented air. For a fraction of a second, he hangs suspended, a green-clad shadow against the glowing fungal canopy, before descending with practiced precision. A soft, wet thump as his boot connects directly with the Koopa's shell. The creature's tiny, stubby legs flail for a moment, an almost comical display of distress, before it flips over shell-side down, spinning frantically in place. The dull, green carapace grinds against the damp earth, sending up tiny spatters of mud and a distinct, dry, whirring sound that quickly picks up speed. Luigi lands lightly, a small puff of mud escaping from beneath his boots, and immediately steps back, his eyes following the spinning shell with unwavering focus. It slides across the spongy ground, gaining momentum, a rapidly rotating green blur. Then, with another perfectly timed, powerful kick, Luigi sends it careening into the colossal, gnarled root of a distant fungal tree. The shell hits with a sharp, bonny shattering into a shower of small, indistinct fragments that vanish before they even fully settle. Luigi lets out a soft, relieved sigh, a visible cloud of vapor in the cool, damp air. He straightens up, adjusting his green cap with a quick, habitual flick of his gloved hand. He turns, his gaze sweeping the clearing, and his eyes meet yours. There's no grand gesture, no shouted greeting, just a slight, knowing nod, a shared glance that conveys a history of countless similar battles, of unspoken understandings, of a shared path. A faint, tired smile touches his lips, and you find yourself returning it, a small, genuine warmth spreading through your chest. The air around you, thick with the scent of damp earth and crushed fungal matter, suddenly feels less oppressive, less isolating. You step out from behind the shimmering fronds, your own heavy boots squelching softly on the saturated soil. Luigi offers another brief, tired smile, a subtle raising of his eyebrows that asks a silent question, an acknowledgement of the persistent journey. You nod, a small gesture that says, "I understand. I'm here." The simple act of his presence, the knowledge that you are not alone in this perpetual cycle of peril and struggle, provides a profound, quiet comfort. The weight of the world, which felt so crushing in the lonely desert or the endless abyss, now seems fractionally lighter, diffused by the shared burden. This is the rhythm of your life, a relentless march through danger, but now it's a rhythm you share. Standing side by side in the soft, glowing light of the fungal forest, you realize how much the presence of another, especially one who understands this strange, demanding life, changes everything. It's not about fighting less, or the journey becoming easier. It's about the sheer, undeniable fact of having someone there, someone who breathes the same stale air, faces the same impossible odds, shares the same brief, hard-won moments of triumph. This quiet, unspoken brotherhood, forged in the crucible of countless dangers, is a unique kind of strength. It offers a fleeting, precious hope that even when the world feels utterly indifferent, you don't have to face its relentless challenges completely alone. And sometimes, in a world that never truly offers a permanent safe harbor, that small shared solace is everything. The air hits you like a slap, dry and electric, carrying a sharp metallic tang mixed with the faint, unsettling scent of ozone, like a storm brewing perpetually indoors. You step out of the pipe, your boots clanking with a hollow, echoing ring on polished, dark stone that resonates with a deep, pervasive tremor. Before your eyes can fully adjust, a blinding flash erupts, not of lightning, but of pure, incandescent white light, followed by a deafening, high-pitched times hum asterisk that vibrates through your skull, making your teeth ache. It's a sound that doesn't just fill the space, it tills the space, a constant, dizzying pressure against your eardrums. You blink, trying to clear your vision, and as the residual afterimage fades, you see it. Filling the cavernous chamber before you, a colossal, perfectly cylindrical structure of polished obsidian and gleaming steel dominates the entire passage. Its surface isn't smooth. It's studded with massive razor-sharp spikes of dark, crystalline material that reflect the harsh white light with a dazzling, almost painful intensity. The entire behemoth is spinning, relentlessly, slowly, with an unyielding, rhythmic precision, its internal mechanisms emitting that profound, dizzying hum. You can feel the sheer, unstoppable momentum emanating from it, a physical presence of raw, engineered power that presses in on you, making the air feel thick and heavy. Each spike glides past an infinitesimal gap in the floor and ceiling, a constant, terrifying demonstration of its uncompromising path. Luigi stands a few paces behind you, his green cap pulled low, his hands resting lightly on his hips. You see him lean back slightly, his eyes wide, his brow furrowed in a silent acknowledgement of the sheer, uncompromising scale of the obstacle before you. There's a faint, uneasy shift in his stance, a subtle, almost imperceptible shake of his head that mirrors the sudden knot of apprehension in your own gut. This isn't a jump you can time, a foe you can flatten, or a block you can hit. This is an unyielding, mechanical force of nature, designed to crush anything that dares to impede its relentless rotation. You feel the cool, solid weight of your own body, the heavy fabric of your overalls, suddenly insignificant, flimsy, against such monumental, implacable might. You step closer to the spinning cylinder, feeling the wind of its rotation stir the air, carrying the faint, metallic scent of heated gears and raw energy. The sheer precision of its movement, the silent, terrifying grace of its spiked surface, makes you realize the futility of any direct confrontation. You reach out, your gloved hand stopping just inches from a passing spike, feeling the intense, almost painful rush of air, the palpable sense of danger that radiates from its turning mass. Your fingers tingle with the close proximity to such immense, destructive power. The only way forward is through, but this thing offers no gaps, no weaknesses, no momentary pauses in its relentless, dazzling hum. It just shall of you is. Standing before this unyielding, spinning might, hearing its constant, disorienting hum, you realize something profound about the challenges you face. It's not always about your strength, or your ability to jump, or even your cleverness. Sometimes, you encounter something truly insurmountable, an obstacle whose purpose isn't to be overcome, but simply to exist, to test the very limits of your persistence. This dazzling, humming, unyielding force, it makes you question the nature of progress itself. How do you move forward when faced with something utterly impassable, something that simply cannot be defeated? The only path isn't through, it's around, or a long, careful wait. And that, in itself, is a unique kind of struggle, a powerful lesson in humility against a world that doesn't care about your heroism. Only its own unyielding will. The colossal, spiked cylinder fills your vision, its dazzling white light and deafening hum pressing in on every sense, making the cavern feel both immense and claustrophobic. You stand at its edge, feeling the wind of its rotation, the raw, untamed momentum that promises to shred anything in its path. Luigi is beside you, his presence a quiet, reassuring anchor against the overwhelming might of the machine. You exchange a glance, a silent acknowledgement of the impossible task, the unyielding power. There's no fear in his eyes, just a focused determination that mirrors your own. Suddenly, with a deeper, grinding trough that shakes the very ground beneath your boots, the entire cylindrical structure lurches. It's not a stop, not a slowdown, but a terrifying, almost imperceptible acceleration. The spikes, which moments ago seemed to glide with lethal grace, now blur into a solid wall of razor-sharp fury. The wind generated by its rotation intensifies dramatically, tearing at your cap, forcing you to lean into it, your heavy overalls flapping wildly around you. A fresh wave of acrid metallic smoke erupts from somewhere within the machine, stinging your eyes, adding a choking element to the already oppressive atmosphere. You feel the ground vibrate with renewed violence, a persistent tremor that seems to shake your very bones, a physical manifestation of the immense forces unleashed. Then, with an ear-splitting screech asterisk of tortured metal, one of the massive spikes, under the unimaginable strain, detaches. It doesn't fall. It's flung from the spinning cylinder with the speed and trajectory of a meteor. It hurtles across the cavern, a dark, gleaming projectile against the dazzling white light, leaving a searing trail of sparks and ozone in its wake. The sheer force of its launch sends a shockwave through the air, pushing you back a step, making you stumble against the rock wall. You see Luigi brace himself, his eyes following the deadly trajectory, his posture tense, ready for anything. The air itself seems to crackle with latent energy, heavy with the smell of scorched metal and potential disaster. The detached spike slams into a distant, ancient pillar of obsidian, hitting with an impact that reverberates through the entire cavern, a deep, resonant note out at sea Todd that makes your chest ache. The pillar, thick as an ancient tree, instantly crumbles, shattering into a shower of smaller, superheated fragments that rain down onto the stone floor with sharp, metallic pings. For a brief, terrifying moment, the already unstable cavern seems to groan under the stress, a deep, resonant sigh of collapsing rock. The spinning cylinder, now missing one of its destructive teeth, continues its furious rotation, its hum just as deafening, its light just as blinding, as if nothing has changed, as if the destruction it just wrought was merely a momentary, insignificant hiccup in its relentless journey. Standing amidst the echoes of the chaos, feeling the ground still trembling from the impact, you look at Luigi. He meets your gaze, his eyes wide, a silent recognition of the sheer, unpredictable, destructive power of this world. This isn't just about planned attacks or predictable obstacles. This is about the sheer, unbridled, indifferent force of things that just happen. The unexpected meteor shower of momentum. The sudden, violent shifts that can redefine the entire landscape in a single, terrifying instant. You realize that your daily life isn't just a linear path of challenges. It's a constant dance with unpredictable, elemental power, where even the most solid structures can be reduced to dust in a blink. And sometimes, the only thing you can do is stand firm, brace yourself, and prepare to face the fallout, knowing that in this world, even immense power can be undone by its own unyielding might. You push out of the cool, damp metal pipe, your boots landing with a soft, familiar thump on cobblestones. A rush of sound and color hits you. It's the Mushroom Kingdom, vibrant and alive, yet something feels subtly off. The air is sweet, a comforting blend of freshly baked Toad House bread and rich, earthy soil. But there's an undercurrent, a faint, metallic tang you can't quite place. Bright, pastel-colored toad houses dot the landscape, their mushroom caps gleaming under a perpetually sunny sky. Toads bustle about, their tiny, high-pitched voices creating a cheerful symphony of daily life. They wave, their round, spotted heads bobbing, their wide smiles a universal greeting. You smile back, a habitual response. But as you take a step, a faint tremor runs through the ground, a subtle ripple barely noticeable, easily mistaken for your own heavy tread. You glance down, then up at the bright blue sky. A cluster of toads nearby, carrying baskets of mushrooms, momentarily pause their chat. Their smiles don't falter, but their eyes, those large, expressive dots, dart quickly around, a flicker of something uneasy passing through them before they resume their cheer, a little too brightly. Luigi, emerging from the pipe behind you, catches your eye. His brow furrows slightly, a silent question in his gaze, confirming you're not imagining it. He subtly places a hand on the ground, feeling for the tremor himself. The vibrant colors of the toad houses, usually a source of comfort, now seem almost aggressive, a defiant splash of cheer against an unspoken tension. The bustling activity, the constant, cheerful chatter. It all feels like a performance, a carefully maintained illusion. You feel the tremor again, stronger this time, a deeper thrumming that travels from the soles of your boots, up your legs and into your chest. It's undeniable. A small, decorative, potted piranha plant on a nearby window ledge sways visibly. A collective gasp, hushed and quick, passes through the crowd of toads. Their smiles tighten, their head spots wobbling with the movement. Some glance nervously towards the horizon, where distant, dark clouds, usually ignored, seem to gather with an ominous weight. Luigi stands beside you, a silent, knowing presence. He rubs his chin, his gaze sweeping the seemingly idyllic scene, lingering on the uneasy glances of the toads. This isn't a battle or a puzzle. This is a constant, underlying hum of instability, a systemic fault line beneath the bright facade. The cheerful atmosphere of the Mushroom Kingdom, often seen as a constant, now feels fragile, perpetually on the brink. You reach out, your gloved hand brushing against a brightly painted toad house wall, feeling the faint, lingering vibration. The paint is smooth, cool, but the tremor seems to hum from deep within the stone. This beautiful, vibrant kingdom, a place meant for joy, is constantly under siege, not just by external forces, but by an internal, structural fragility. You realize that your daily life here isn't just about saving princesses or defeating villains. It's also about living with this perpetual tremor, this underlying anxiety that the very ground beneath your feet could give way at any moment. The endless cheer, the bright colors, they're not just decorations. They're a desperate, collective act of resistance against the profound, inescapable instability that defines this world. You wonder what it truly costs to maintain such a bright, unwavering smile when the ground beneath you never truly stops trembling. The tremor fades, but the unease lingers, a phantom vibration in the vibrant Mushroom Kingdom. You see a toad, his bright red cap bobbing, carrying a towering stack of freshly baked mushroom pies. He hums a cheerful tune, his wide, dotted eyes fixed on the path, but his steps are just a fraction too quick, a nervous energy propelling him forward. As another, more pronounced tremor ripples through the cobblestones, a distinct through, meaty, that makes a nearby potted flower sway. The toad stumbles, catching himself just before the pies topple. His smile, moments ago so broad and innocent, becomes strained, a taut line of muscle holding it in place. His eyes, however, betray him. They flick around, quick and darting, filled with a deep, liquid fear that vanishes as soon as he senses anyone might be looking, replaced by that same, unwavering, almost desperate cheer. Luigi, standing next to you, nudges your arm subtly. You turn to him. His gaze is fixed on a group of toads near a fountain, their voices still chirping with forced merriment. One, a petite toadette with a pink cap, is laughing a little too loudly, her small hands clasped tight behind her back, her knuckles white. You notice her head spot, usually so vibrant, twitching, almost imperceptibly, with a nervous rhythm. Another tremor, softer this time, makes the water in the fountain ripple gently, a tiny, almost beautiful disturbance. The toadette's eyes widen for a split second, a raw, naked panic flashing across them, before her laughter bursts forth again, even more shrill, more forced. She glances quickly at a nearby, older toad, who gives her a reassuring, yet equally strained nod. It's a silent, shared performance, a collective agreement to pretend, to maintain the facade no matter the cost. The air, usually sweet with baked goods, now carries a faint, almost imperceptible tang of fear, like static electricity on a humid day, mingling with the sugary scent. You feel a dull ache in your chest, a sense of profound sadness for these cheerful beings. They live in a perpetual state of quiet terror, their happiness a thin veil over a constant, gnawing anxiety. You see the subtle tension in their shoulders, the way their small hands occasionally clench, the brief, desperate glances they exchange when they think no one is watching. They are trapped in a loop of forced optimism, their daily lives a constant effort to project joy, even as the ground beneath them literally threatens to collapse. Luigi shifts his weight, a deep, silent sigh escaping his lips. He pulls his cap down a little lower, his own expression a mixture of understanding and deep weariness. You realize this isn't just their burden, it's yours too. Every time you leave, every time you're gone, they continue this elaborate charade, waiting, hoping, trembling. You are their champion, yes, but you are also a witness to their silent suffering, their desperate bravery. The bright, cheerful colors of their homes, the endless hum of their activity. It all feels less like true happiness and more like a collective prayer, a desperate incantation against the encroaching darkness. This persistent, almost heroic effort to smile, to pretend everything is fine, even when the very foundations of your world are shaking, it's a profound and heartbreaking act of resistance. You understand that true strength isn't always found in grand battles, but in the quiet, daily courage to keep that smile fixed, to keep that fear hidden, to keep up the appearance of joy for the sake of an entire kingdom, even when your own heart is trembling. And you carry the weight of that silent collective fear, a heavy reminder of what you are fighting for, far beyond just saving a princess. It's about preserving a fragile, beautiful illusion for those who cannot fight for themselves. The air hits you with a sharp, biting chill, instantly cooling your face and hands, yet it carries a peculiar, almost sweet metallic scent. Like iron filings mixed with fresh rain, you emerge from the pipe, your boots landing with a distinct, hollow clink on an impossibly smooth, hard surface. This isn't cobblestone, or damp earth, or scorching rock. This is ice, pure and unforgiving. Your heavy boots slide precariously, threatening to send you sprawling, and you instinctively widen your stance, arms out, trying to find purchase on the treacherous, slick ground. A shiver, deep and bone-chilling, runs through your entire body. You look around. The cavern is bathed in a dazzling, sterile blue light that seems to emanate from the very walls and ceiling. Everything around you is sculpted from ice, towering, jagged pillars of frozen water, shimmering with internal light, stretched to an unseen ceiling. The ground beneath your feet is a vast, expansive sheet of mirror-smooth, blue-tinted ice, impossibly slick, reflecting your own wide-eyed image back at you with unsettling clarity. Every surface is sharp, crystalline, gleaming with a cold, unforgiving beauty. You reach out, your gloved hand brushing against a nearby ice pillar. The cold is intense, a piercing, painful bite that sears your skin even through the thick fabric. You quickly retract your hand, a faint, lingering ache remaining. Luigi slides up beside you, a faint times SHHHHK asterisk of his boots on the ice. He gestures with his chin towards a narrow, winding pathway that snakes across the vast icy floor. It's not just a path, it's a raised ridge of slightly rougher, snow-dusted ice, barely wide enough for one pair of boots. This path isn't straight or direct. It twists, it turns, it vanishes behind towering ice formations, reappearing unexpectedly at strange angles. It's a deliberate, almost mocking challenge, a way to test your balance, your patience, your very will. You watch a tiny, iridescent ice beetle scuttle across the smooth ice beyond the path, its legs moving with an effortless grace that you envy with a bitter pang. You take a tentative step onto the path, your boots crunching softly on the dusted ice, a small, satisfying sound that offers a fleeting illusion of stability. But even on the path, the surface is deceptively slick, threatening to give way beneath you. You move slowly, deliberately, each step a careful, calculated maneuver, your arms held wide for balance, your eyes fixed on the immediate ground ahead. The cold air, sharp and dry, fills your lungs, making your breath mist visibly before it dissolves into the blue light. The silence here is profound, broken only by the faint, high-pitched creak of shifting ice somewhere far away, and the subtle, persistent asterisk, SHHHHK asterisk, of Luigi's boots behind you as he mirrors your cautious progress. This frozen world, with its crystal bite and treacherous, slithering path, is a stark reminder of the constant need for adaptation. You realize that your daily life isn't just about strength or speed. It's about constant adjustment, about learning to navigate new, unexpected terrains that demand entirely different skills. Here, a misstep isn't just a stumble. It's a potential plunge into an icy abyss, a brutal end to your journey. You wonder how many more unexpected worlds await you, how many more times you'll have to redefine your very movements, your very approach to survival. It's a testament to the human spirit, this unwavering ability to adapt, to find a way forward, even when the ground beneath you is nothing but unyielding, deadly ice. The biting cold in your lungs feels like shards of glass with every breath you take, each exhale a thick, white cloud that instantly vanishes into the blue-tinged air. Your heavy boots, despite their thick soles, feel numb, a distant sensation as you meticulously place one foot in front of the other on the narrow, snow-dusted ice path. Luigi is a silent, focused presence behind you, his rhythmic asterisk, SHHHHK, asterisk, of boots on ice, a comforting counterpoint to your own labored breathing. The dazzling, sterile blue light from the ice walls seems to accentuate every shimmering, treacherous imperfection on the path, making it impossible to truly relax, impossible to trust the ground beneath your feet. You reach a particularly narrow stretch, a thin bridge of ice spanning a deep, inky crevice. Below, a profound, chilling darkness swallows all light, hinting at an endless drop into frigid oblivion. A faint, almost imperceptible rack-lock echoes from somewhere far below, a sound that sends an icy spear of dread through your gut, making every muscle tense. You freeze, holding your breath, your eyes wide, scanning the ice beneath you. Is it the path? Is it the chasm? The air feels heavier, colder, laden with unspoken danger. Luigi stops abruptly behind you, the faint asterisk, SHHHHK, asterisk of his boots ceasing, his silence a stark confirmation of the sudden, heightened peril. You can practically feel his focused, vigilant stare on your back. You take another slow, deliberate step, your weight distributed carefully, trying to minimize any sudden shifts. The ice under your boot emits a faint, high-pitched groan, a low, resonant sound that makes the hairs on your arms stand on end. You quickly shift your weight, your heart pounding a frantic rhythm against your ribs. The path here is like a living thing responding to your every movement, an unforgiving judge of your balance and nerve. You glance down at the crevice, and the darkness seems to pulse, to almost beckon you into its frigid depths, a silent, predatory invitation. The cold seeps into your bones, a constant, physical reminder of the brutal consequences of a single misstep. Then, from the inky blackness of the crevice, a creature emerges. It's a dark, serpentine shape, sleek and impossibly fast, its scales shimmering with a sinister, oily green glow. It darts through the water, its head, crowned with a jagged crystalline horn, breaking the surface with a sudden silent, cool. Its eyes, beady and black, fixed directly on you, cold and utterly devoid of emotion, a pure, predatory hunger. It doesn't growl, it simply stares, its motionless gaze a more terrifying threat than any roar. The air around it feels even colder, a sudden, localized drop in temperature that makes your breath catch in your throat. You understand in that instant, this path, this world of ice, it isn't just physically treacherous. It's designed to exploit your very trust, to make the ground beneath you betray you, and then to let the hidden dangers of the deep do their work. Every solid step, every moment of perceived safety, is just an illusion, you realize that your daily life is a constant navigation of these fragile realities, where what appears stable can shatter in an instant, and true security is an ephemeral, often cruel, dream. This world of frozen breath and shattered trust, it's a brutal lesson in constant vigilance, in never truly letting your guard down, because even the most beautiful and seemingly solid paths can hide the most chilling, silent betrayals. You push out of the pipe, your heavy boots landing on a surface that is neither rock nor ice, but a dull, gray, impossibly smooth concrete. The air here is thick, with the pervasive smell of ozone and burning oil, a mechanical stench that clogs your nostrils and stings your eyes. Before you, stretching into the dim, artificial light, is a corridor of immense, unyielding blocks of solid gray stone, each one perfectly uniform, cold and utterly impersonal. The light source, high above, is a series of harsh, flickering fluorescent tubes that cast long, unsettling shadows that dance with every subtle shift of your weight. The silence is broken by a low, rhythmic chung thud. Chung thud, a deep, heavy cadence that vibrates through the very ground, through your boots and into your teeth. You walk forward, your boots echoing unnaturally on the slick concrete. The sound intensifies, growing louder, more insistent, a relentless, mechanical heartbeat. You turn a corner, and there it is, 2 colossal blocks of gray stone, each the size of a small house, are moving. They're positioned directly opposite each other, slowly, inexorably, converging with immense, grinding power. They don't slide smoothly. They shudder. They groan. They bite down with an almost visible force. Between them, a narrow, ever-shrinking gap of air. The rhythmic chung thud is the sound of one block impacting a far wall, then the other, resetting its trajectory, only to begin its crushing advance again. The air between them smells of pulverized rock and something intensely cold, like compressed fear. Luigi is already there, a few paces ahead, his green cap pulled low, his arms crossed over his chest. He watches the blocks with a focused, almost meditative intensity, his body subtly tensing with each kung thud. You feel the sheer, unyielding force of these moving walls, a palpable pressure that seems to squeeze the air from your lungs. It's not just the threat of being crushed. It's the profound sense of inevitability, the relentless, impersonal might of an engineered death trap. You reach out, your gloved hand brushing against the cold, unyielding concrete of the floor, feeling the constant, rhythmic tremor, the pulse of the crushing mechanism deep beneath. You try to calculate the timing. When do they pause? How long is the gap? Your mind races, trying to find a pattern, a weakness, a window of opportunity in their relentless cadence. But the rhythm, while constant, feels deliberately designed to disorient, to instill a subtle panic. The speed of their convergence is just a fraction too fast, the window of escape just a fraction too narrow. You can see the faint, gray dust motes dancing in the harsh light of the gap, kicked up by the pulverizing force, illuminated for a fleeting second before being swallowed by the closing walls. Luigi shifts his weight, a subtle, almost imperceptible intake of breath, his eyes fixed on the precise moment of their fullest retraction. He knows the timing, or at least, he's about to bet his life on it. This crushing cadence, this unyielding dance of stone and steel, it makes you realize that sometimes the greatest dangers aren't alive, or even intentional. They are simply immense, indifferent forces, set in motion, relentlessly executing their purpose. Your daily life isn't just about fighting. It's about navigating these relentless mechanical gauntlets, these precise, deadly challenges that demand absolute precision, unwavering timing, and a complete trust in your own finely honed reflexes. And in this cold, sterile, relentlessly crushing corridor, You understand that your strength isn't just in your jump or your fire, but in your ability to master the rhythm of an indifferent, unforgiving machine, and to find the fleeting, razor-thin moment of opportunity within its crushing cadence. The rhythmic of the colossal stone blocks grinds into your bones, a constant, sickening reminder of the immense, crushing power. The air between them, thick with the smell of ozone and pulverized stone, feels like a physical entity, pressing in. You stand beside Luigi, both of you perfectly still, focused, your eyes locked onto the narrow, shrinking gap. He exhales slowly, a puff of visible vapor in the harsh, flickering fluorescent light, his body coiled, ready. This isn't about brute force. It's a ballet of survival, a test of absolute precision and unwavering nerve. The blocks retract, their massive surfaces groaning against hidden mechanisms, creating a fleeting, tantalizingly wide gap. In that infinitesimal moment of maximum separation, Luigi moves. It's a blur of green and blue, a powerful, practiced dash that carries him across the concrete floor with incredible speed. His heavy boots make barely a sound as he darts into the opening, his body leaning forward, cap low, a perfectly executed burst of controlled movement. The air rushes past him, a cold gust from the void beyond. He's through. The blocks begin their slow, inexorable convergence again, their immense weight groaning, the gap shrinking with terrifying speed. Now it's your turn. Your heart pounds, a frantic drum against your ribs. But your mind is clear, hyper-aware. You feel the tremor in the concrete, the subtle shift as the blocks prepare their crushing embrace. You inhale, a sharp, quick breath that fills your lungs, and then you move. It's an explosion of power, a burst of ingrained muscle memory, propelling you forward into the narrowing space. The harsh light glints off the slick concrete as you slide. Then spring, your heavy boots a blur. The smell of crushed rock and hot metal is overwhelming, a dizzying assault on your senses. You can feel the sheer, unyielding force of the stone walls closing in on either side of you, a palpable pressure that threatens to snatch your very breath. You push, you strain, every muscle screaming in protest, fighting against the relentless closing walls. The gap is almost gone, a razor-thin sliver of light remaining. You taste dust, grit, the metallic tang of adrenaline, coating your mouth. Then, just as the blocks meet with a deafening crunch that vibrates through the entire structure, you are through. You stumble, catching yourself on the smooth concrete of the far side, your chest heaving, your lungs burning for air. You turn, heart still hammering, to see the two colossal blocks now pressed together, a seamless wall of gray stone, their relentless chung food continuing, as if you were never there. Luigi is a few steps ahead, his back to you, silently waiting. He doesn't turn, doesn't offer a word, but his posture, the slight relaxation of his shoulders, speaks volumes. You meet him side by side once more, both of you breathing heavily, the metallic taste of adrenaline still potent on your tongues. This brutal ballet of survival, this dance with certain death, it leaves you shaken, but also profoundly alive. You realize that your daily life isn't just a series of challenges to be overcome, but a constant, high-stakes performance, a brutal ballet where a fraction of a second, a single misstep, means oblivion. And in this world of crushing stone and unyielding steel, your greatest strength isn't just courage, but the refined, honed precision of your own body, the silent, unspoken trust you place in your own reflexes, your own skill, to carry you through the narrowest of margins, again and again. The air here is impossibly thick, humid, carrying an almost overwhelming scent of rich, decaying vegetation, a damp, cloying sweetness mixed with the faint, unsettling tang of something acrid, almost like venom. You push out of the pipe, your heavy boots sinking into soft, spongy soil that gives way beneath your weight, instantly coating them in dark, sticky mud. Above you, a dense canopy of colossal, fleshy leaves and twisting vines chokes out almost all natural light, casting the entire jungle floor in a perpetual, sickly green gloom. Everywhere you look, vibrant, almost aggressive plant life pulses with a silent, hungry energy. Giant, bulbous flowers with toothy orifices drip with viscous nectar, their petals quivering with a life of their own. You take a step forward, and a sudden, sharp time snip echoes from directly in front of you. A colossal piranha plant, its blood-red head bursting from a short green pipe in the ground, snaps its formidable jaws shut with a speed that defies its size. The sound is like a guillotine, a chilling, final snap that makes your blood run cold. Its razor-sharp teeth, gleaming white and wet, retract slowly, dripping with thick, dark saliva, and then it sinks back into its pipe with a low, gurgling slurp. The air around its pipe carries a faint, sickening scent of raw meat and digestive fluids, a stark reminder of its predatory nature. Luigi, a few paces behind you, recoils slightly, his hand instinctively going to his cap, his eyes wide with surprise. You stand frozen for a moment, the pungent, sweet, sickly air thick in your lungs, the metallic tang of fear rising in your throat. Your eyes dart frantically to the dozens of other green pipes scattered across the dense jungle floor, each one a potential hiding place for another lurking, hungry maw. There's no predictable pattern to their emergence. They seem to appear and disappear with a malevolent, random timing, a constant, pervasive threat. The very ground beneath your boots feels alive, the roots twitching, the vines swaying, as if the entire jungle is breathing, watching, waiting to strike. Luigi gives a slight, exasperated sigh, a puff of visible vapor in the humid air. He points to a series of stone blocks, half hidden by thick vines, that offer the only clear path forward. But even these blocks are not safe. Some are dangerously close to the mouths of the green pipes. Others are covered in a slick, dark film of unknown origin. This path isn't just about navigating physical obstacles. It's about timing, about prediction, about trying to outwit a living, hungry maze that wants to consume you. You feel the constant, heavy humidity pressing in, making your overalls cling to your skin, making every movement feel like an effort against an unseen, viscous resistance. This verdant maw, with its sudden, snapping vice, it makes you realize that sometimes the greatest danger comes from the very beauty of the world, from the things that look vibrant and alive, yet harbor a hidden, predatory hunger. Your daily life isn't just about heroics, it's about constant vigilance, about the precise, unforgiving timing required to navigate a world that is always trying to consume you, always trying to catch you unawares. And as you prepare to leap, watching the pipes, timing their malevolent bursts, you understand that your strength isn't just in your jump, but in your ability to survive the surprise, to react in the infinitesimal moment between apparent safety and sudden hungry death. Again and again, the air is thick, humid, clinging to your skin, carrying that sickeningly sweet scent of decaying plant matter and faint acrid venom. You stand on a slippery stone block, your heavy boots coated in sticky mud, your eyes fixed on the green pipe directly in front of you. It's an ordinary pipe, identical to 1,000 others you've encountered, yet it holds the potential for sudden, violent death. Luigi is behind you, his green cap pulled low, his silhouette a silent, watchful presence against the oppressive green gloom. You feel the dull throb of your heart, a steady drum against your ribs, amplified by the heavy humidity. Suddenly, with a familiar, chilling snip, the blood-red head of a piranha plant bursts from the pipe, its formidable jaws snapping shut with a speed that makes you flinch. The sound is sharp, final, cutting through the dense air. You instinctively recoil, your body tensing, your mind a blur of instinct and reaction. Its razor-sharp teeth, glistening wet, retract slowly, dripping with thick, dark saliva, before it sinks back down with a low, gurgling slurp. The air around the pipe wavers, momentarily thicker with the smell of raw meat, before settling back into the pervasive jungle scent. You let out a slow, controlled breath you didn't realize you were holding, the metallic taste of adrenaline sharp in your mouth. You wait. Minutes crawl by, each second stretched by the profound silence of the jungle, broken only by the soft drip of condensation from overhead leaves and the faint, almost imperceptible buzzing of unseen insects. You try to predict its pattern, to find a rhythm in its malevolent, random appearances, but there is none. It's a test of sheer, unrelenting patience, a deliberate torture. You shift your weight, your heavy boots almost sliding on the slick stone, your muscles protesting the prolonged stillness. The humid air presses in, making your overalls cling uncomfortably, and a bead of sweat, thick and warm, trickles down your temple, tickling your ear. Then, from the corner of your eye, a subtle movement. Not the pipe you're watching, but another, further down the path, half hidden by a drooping fern. A piranha plant there, one you hadn't even considered, emerges with startling speed and snaps its jaws. The sound is a cruel echo, a stark reminder that danger in this world isn't always direct, isn't always obvious. It's multifaceted, unpredictable, a constant threat lurking in the periphery, beneath the mundane. Luigi catches your eye. A quick, almost imperceptible shake of his head. A silent acknowledgement of the cunning, pervasive nature of the threat. This quiet, agonizing wait, this constant vigilance against a hidden, unpredictable foe, it makes you realize something profound. Your daily life isn't just about facing the dragons in the Bowser. It's about surviving the mundane, the ubiquitous, the seemingly harmless pipes that hold a hidden snapping maw. The most insidious threats are often those that blend into the background, those that are everywhere, waiting patiently for a single lapse in concentration. And as you steel yourself, preparing for the next leap, knowing that danger could come from any pipe, at any moment you understand that your greatest strength isn't just your jump, but your capacity for endless, exhausting vigilance against the unseen, the unexpected, the constant, pervasive threat lurking beneath the very fabric of your ordinary world. The ground beneath your boots dissolves with a sudden, sickening lurch. It's not a crumbling brick or an empty abyss, but a complete, disorienting disappearance of everything solid. One moment you're standing on the familiar damp earth of the pipe exit. The next, you're tumbling, head over heels, in an endless, featureless white void. A sharp, guttural gasp escapes your lips, instantly swallowed by the absolute silence that presses in on all sides. There's no wind, no sound of rushing air, just a profound, unsettling stillness that is far more terrifying than any roar. Your stomach lurches violently, a dizzying nausea that makes your head swim, leaving you completely disoriented. Your eyes, wide with panic, strain against the overwhelming, blinding white. It's not light, not shadow, but a dimensionless, pure void, an infinite expanse of nothingness that seems to absorb all depth, all perspective. You can't tell up from down, left from right. Your body tumbles weightlessly, directionlessly, a helpless ragdoll in an endless, empty expanse. The heavy fabric of your overalls feels utterly alien against your skin, a clumsy, useless weight in this realm of anti-gravity. You reach out, your gloved hands flailing, desperate for anything to grasp, anything to provide a sense of direction, a hint of solidity, but there is only the soft, yielding, infinite nothing. A profound, echoing sense of isolation settles over you, heavier than any physical burden. Luigi is gone. The comforting asterisk SHHHHK asterisk of his boots, the quiet strength of his presence, is replaced by this absolute, terrifying solitude. You are utterly alone, adrift in an endless blank canvas, a single, insignificant speck of red and blue. The silence here is not peaceful. It's a suffocating roar, a deafening absence that amplifies the frantic drumming of your own heart to an unbearable crescendo. You try to yell, to shout, to break the profound stillness, but no sound escapes, no vibration resonates, only the desperate internal struggle against the overwhelming emptiness. You squeeze your eyes shut, trying to banish the blinding white, trying to reclaim some small measure of sanity, but the void simply shifts, transforming into an internal white, just as absolute, just as terrifying. You feel a new kind of fear, not of pain or immediate danger, but of pure erasure, of being utterly lost, completely forgotten, a non-entity in a non-world. The smell, or rather, the lack of it, is equally disorienting. There is no damp earth, no sulfur, no ozone, no sweet mushroom. There is only the sterile, unsettling scent of nothing, a vacuum that strips away every sensory anchor. This blinding lurch, this sudden plunge into the echo of nowhere, it makes you realize that sometimes the greatest terror isn't about what you encounter, but what you don't. It's about the terrifying uncertainty of a world, without rules, without boundaries, without even the simple, comforting presence of a tangible threat. Your daily life, your endless journey, is built on a foundation of predictable dangers, of enemies to jump on, of gaps to cross. But here, in this formless void, everything you thought you knew, every skill you possessed, is utterly meaningless. And in this terrifying, absolute emptiness, you are forced to confront the most profound fear of all, the fear of being truly, utterly lost, beyond all hope of finding a way back, a simple, heartbreaking echo in the heart of nowhere. The endless white void is still all around you, blinding, suffocating, completely devoid of sound or scent. You tumble, directionless, a helpless speck in an infinite expanse of nothing. Your body aches with the profound disorientation, your mind screaming for solid ground, for a discernible horizon, for anything to anchor itself to. The fear of true erasure, of being utterly lost, weighs heavier than any physical burden. Luigi remains absent, swallowed by this bewildering non-reality. Then, just as the nausea threatens to overwhelm you, a disturbance, a shimmering ripple appears in the pure white ahead, expanding rapidly, like a stone dropped into liquid light. It coalesces into a perfectly circular portal, a swirling vortex of deep, vibrant colors, greens, blues, purples, pulsating with an otherworldly light. It looks both inviting and terrifying, a gaping maw of kaleidoscopic energy. There's no sound, no discernible force, but you feel an irresistible pull, a silent, powerful current, drawing you towards its swirling heart. You flail, try to resist, but your movements are useless, futile against this unseen, absolute force. You plunge into the portal, the colors explode around you. A dizzying, overwhelming rush of pure sensation. You feel a sudden, violent compression, like being squeezed through an impossibly tight tube, followed by an equally abrupt expansion. The air changes instantly, first hot, then cold, then damp, then dry, a chaotic kaleidoscope of temperatures and textures against your skin. Scents flash by, sulfur, damp earth, ozone, sweet fungus, burnt sand, a fleeting, chaotic symphony of every world you've ever known, each smell a ghost of a memory. Sounds, too, erupt and vanish, a distant roar, a metallic clink, a high-pitched toms a familiar tomp, all distorted, fragmented, utterly disorienting. You close your eyes, trying to block out the sensory overload, but it's useless. The sensations pierce through, invading every fiber of your being. Just as quickly as it began, the chaotic journey ends. You are abruptly spat out, tumbling onto unfamiliar ground. Your heavy boots land with a solid, jarring shoe on uneven, moss-covered stone. The air is cool, damp, carrying the scent of rich soil and distant pine. A vast, verdant forest stretches before you, towering trees with impossibly green leaves reaching for a clear blue sky. This world is new, unknown, yet strikingly familiar in its fundamental reality. Ground, trees, sky. You're no longer in the white void, no longer in the endless loop of the portal. You are somewhere else entirely, deposited with disorienting finality. You push yourself up, your muscles aching, your head spinning. You look back. There's no portal, no shimmering circle of colors, just the solid, moss-covered wall of a cliff face. It's as if it never existed, as if your journey through the void was a dream. You realize with a heavy, unsettling clarity that you are a prisoner to these portals, a pawn to a fate you cannot control, relentlessly flung from one perilous world to the next. Your daily life isn't just about navigating challenges, but about accepting this profound lack of agency, this constant, unpredictable displacement. You don't choose your path. It is chosen for you, often violently, always without warning. And in this realization, standing on this new yet fundamentally similar ground, you understand that the deepest struggle isn't against enemies or obstacles, but against the crushing knowledge that you are merely a traveler, without true destination or free will, forever bound to the whims of the next sudden, inexplicable portal. The air here is impossibly clean, crisp, carrying the vibrant, earthy scent of damp soil and the sweet, resinous aroma of pine. You stand on soft, springy grass, your heavy boots sinking just a fraction, feeling the cool, yielding earth beneath them. Above you, a vast azure sky stretches, dotted with fluffy white clouds that drift with a slow, almost lazy grace. Towering, ancient trees, their bark rough and textured, rise majestically around you, their leaves 1,000 shades of vibrant green, rustling gently in a soft, continuous breeze. The sunlight filters through the dense canopy in dappled, shifting patterns, painting the forest floor in a kaleidoscope of light and shadow. You take a deep, slow breath, filling your lungs with air that tastes sweet, pure, and utterly free of dust, sulfur, or any metallic tang. It's a profound, almost forgotten sensation, this simple act of breathing unburnt, untainted air. Your shoulders, usually tense, unconsciously relax. The nagging ache in your muscles, a constant companion, seems to recede, replaced by a quiet, almost unsettling calm. There's no growl, no hum, no distant roar, no sudden snap of jaws. Only the gentle symphony of nature, the soft rustle of leaves, the distant melodious chirping of unseen birds, the faint, incessant buzz of harmless insects. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the warmth of the sun fall on your face, a comforting, familiar sensation that feels miles away from the scorching desert or the frigid ice caverns. You listen to the quiet, to the gentle whisper of the wind through the trees, and for the first time, in what feels like an eternity, there is no underlying tremor, no subtle vibration promising danger. The ground beneath your boots feels utterly solid, unwavering, a true foundation. You reach down, your gloved fingers brushing against the soft, cool blades of grass, feeling the delicate dew still clinging to them. It's a texture, a sensation of pure, unadulterated peace. Luigi is nowhere to be seen, but for once, his absence doesn't bring fear or a sense of isolation. Instead, it brings a quiet understanding, a shared moment of individual respite. You are alone, yes, but not lonely. It's a solitude that allows for simple presence, for a deep, internal sigh of relief. You open your eyes, and the vibrant greens, the clear blues, the gentle yellows of wildflowers scattered across the forest floor seem almost impossibly rich, impossibly beautiful. Every detail, every blade of grass, every sun-dappled leaf feels intensely real, intensely present, amplified by the profound stillness that surrounds you. This moment of stillness, this breath of unburnt air, it's a precious, fleeting gift in your relentless daily life. You realize that your journey isn't just about the constant fight, but about these rare, profound pauses, these unexpected moments of peace that offer a chance to simply thrive. It's a reminder that beneath all the chaos, all the peril, there is still immense beauty, profound calm, and a deep, intrinsic goodness in the world. And in this quiet, verdant haven, you understand that these moments of peace aren't just an absence of struggle. They are a vital, necessary replenishment, a silent, powerful reassurance that even the most weary soul can find a brief, precious moment of unadulterated calm, a chance to simply breathe and remember what it is you are fighting for, beyond the constant threat. The incredibly clean air, still sweet with pine and damp earth, feels like a balm in your lungs, but now a subtle shift begins. The gentle rustle of leaves in the ancient trees, once a soothing symphony, seems to grow just a fraction louder, a whisper that hints at something more than just a breeze. The sun, which moments ago cast such comforting warmth on your face, now ducks behind a rapidly thickening cloud, sending a sudden, cool shadow sweeping across the forest floor. You feel a faint, almost imperceptible chill against your skin, a fleeting shiver that is entirely unrelated to the refreshing air, a premonition that settles deep in your gut. The vibrant greens and blues around you, so rich and comforting, seem to dim just a hair, losing their sharp, optimistic edge. You reach down, your gloved fingers instinctively brushing against the soft, cool grass, but the connection to the solid, unwavering earth feels subtly less absolute. It's not trembling, not shifting, but there's a new, underlying tension, an unspoken expectation in the very stillness of the air. The melodic chirping of the distant birds, which had filled the silence with their joyous song, suddenly ceases, replaced by an unnerving quiet. Even the faint, incessant buzz of harmless insects seems to fall silent, as if the entire forest is holding its breath, collectively sensing an impending change. You scan the horizon, your eyes tracing the outline of the distant, towering trees, and you notice the edges of the sky, once so perfectly azure, now taking on a faint, almost metallic gray hue, a subtle warning sign. You take another deep breath, but this time, it's not for peace. It's a bracing inhale, a preparation. The sweetness of the air is still there, but now it's tinged with something else, something sharper, almost electric, the subtle scent of an approaching weather front, or perhaps a more familiar kind of chaos. Your muscles, which had relaxed in the brief respite, subtly tense again, a faint echo of the constant readiness that defines your life. The quiet, once so profoundly comforting, now feels like a profound lull, a momentary pause in an otherwise endless, relentless narrative of challenge and movement. It's a silence that isn't empty, but pregnant with anticipation, a silence that screams of what is to come. You glance towards the unseen pipe, the very exit you emerged from, and a clear image of its cold, damp interior flashes in your mind, a stark contrast to this fleeting verdant beauty. The world you know is always turning, always shifting, always demanding. And this beautiful, silent moment is just that. A moment. A brief, precious interval before the next unpredictable plunge, the next crushing cadence, the next verdant maw. Your foot unconsciously shifts, pressing a little firmer into the soft, yielding grass, as if trying to imprint this fragile piece into your memory, to hold on to it just a little longer. This profound stillness, this fragile piece before the inevitable storm, it makes you realize that even in the most beautiful, most serene moments, the knowledge of what lies ahead, the understanding of the constant, unending nature of your journey, never truly leaves you. It's a constant companion, a quiet hum beneath the tranquility. You appreciate these rare respites not just for their calm, but for the profound, almost heartbreaking clarity they offer, allowing you to catch your breath, to remember the beauty, and to steel yourself for the inevitable return to the fight. And in this precious, fleeting quiet, you understand that these moments are not a destination, but a vital, often melancholic, preparation for the relentless, unpredictable demands of your life's unending adventure. The air here is thick with a pervasive smell of ash and brimstone, dry and choking, stinging your nostrils with every labored breath. You push out of the pipe, your heavy boots landing with a hollow, echoing clatter on rough, dark stone. Before you, spanning a colossal, churning abyss of molten lava, is a bridge. It's a structure of ancient, splintered wooden planks and rusty, corroded chains, visibly swaying and groaning under its own weight. The heat emanating from the lava below is intense, an infernal blast that pulls at the moisture in your eyes, making the air shimmer with dizzying distortion. Your skin feels tight, baked dry, and the metallic taste of fear, sharp and acrid, coats the back of your throat. You glance down into the abyss. Below, a vast, angry river of molten orange and red lava churns and bubbles with furious energy, sending up plumes of acrid smoke that sting your eyes. The roar is deafening, a continuous, guttural bellow that shakes the very ground beneath your boots, vibrating up your legs and into your chest, a primal scream of elemental power. It's the sound of pure, untamed destruction, a furious symphony that drowns out all other thoughts, all other sensations, leaving only the overwhelming presence of the heat and the roar. The air feels charged, heavy with the weight of impending doom. Luigi is a few paces ahead, his green cap pulled low, his silhouette stark against the hellish glow of the lava. He grips the rough, splintered wooden railing of the bridge, testing its stability with a cautious, almost imperceptible tug. The wood groans in protest, a long, drawn-out CREEK asterisk that seems to last an eternity, sending a fresh wave of panic through your gut. You see a look of grim determination on his face, a silent acknowledgement of the treacherous path ahead. The planks beneath your boots feel thin, precariously balanced, each step a gamble against the inevitable. You can feel the intense radiating warmth from the lava below, even through the thick, heavy soles of your boots, a constant, physical reminder of the deadly maw beneath. You take a tentative step onto the bridge, your heavy boot landing on a plank that instantly emits a dry, protesting squeak. A small, dark chunk of wood detaches from the plank and tumbles into the lava below, dissolving instantly with a faint hiss and a puff of smoke. The roar of the lava seems to intensify, as if mocking your fragility, eagerly awaiting its next meal. The entire bridge sways, a sickening pendulum motion, making your head swim, forcing you to grip the railing with white-knuckled intensity. The rusty chains connecting the planks rattle and clink with a menacing cadence, sounding like a death knell. This splintering bridge, this infernal roar below, it makes you realize that sometimes the greatest battles aren't fought with fists or fireballs, but with sheer, unadulterated nerve. Your daily life isn't just about overcoming obstacles. It's about walking a tightrope over oblivion, about confronting your deepest fears with every precarious step. You wonder how many more times you'll have to face such an elemental, terrifying force. How many more times you'll have to trust something so fragile, so broken, to carry you across the unbridgeable. And in this harrowing moment, suspended between decaying wood and consuming fire, you understand that your resilience isn't just in your strength, but in your unwavering will to take that step, again and again, across the very edge of absolute infernal destruction. You push forward across the splintering bridge, each heavy boot landing with a careful, almost delicate precision on the groaning wooden planks. The heat from the lava below is an unbearable inferno, a constant, physical assault that pulls at your skin, making every pore ache. The air, thick with the smell of ash and brimstone, burns your nostrils with every shallow breath. The entire structure sways and creaks under your weight, a symphony of decay and imminent collapse, the rusty chains rattling a warning, a constant metallic counterpoint to the deafening roar of the molten river beneath. Luigi is just ahead, his form a dark silhouette against the hellish glow, his movements a mirrored dance of caution and agility. He glances back at you, a quick, silent communication, his eyes reflecting the deep, fiery orange of the abyss, acknowledging the profound peril of this precarious crossing. You feel the searing heat radiating up through the worn soles of your boots, the rough, splintered wood occasionally digging into the thick fabric, a subtle reminder of the flimsy barrier between you and instantaneous incineration. Midway across the span, the bridge seems to sag even lower, the planks beneath your feet groaning with a desperate protesting squeak asterisk that sends a fresh jolt of fear through your chest. You grip the wooden railing with white-knuckled intensity, feeling the loose splinters dig into your gloves. The thought flashes through your mind, this isn't just a path, it's a trap, an invitation for something to follow, to track your every desperate step. The raw, elemental fury of the lava below whispers a dangerous promise of finality. Luigi reaches the far side, landing with a soft, careful thump on solid stone. He turns, not moving to help, but simply watching you, his expression grim. He gestures with his chin, a subtle movement, towards the bridge behind you, then makes a decisive, downward motion with his hand. You understand immediately. The bridge, your precarious lifeline, must be destroyed. It's a grim calculus, a brutal necessity. There's no discussion, no argument. It's a shared, unspoken burden, a necessary act of calculated cruelty to ensure no one or nothing can follow your path. The realization settles in your gut like a cold stone. You summon the last lingering warmth from your core, the familiar tingle of firepower, a desperate echo of the mushroom's kiss. With a grunt of effort, you unleash it. A small, brilliant ball of pure, incandescent flame bursts from your hand, searing the ash-filled air, smelling faintly of sulfur and ozone. It arcs through the hellish glow, a fiery orange comet against the backdrop of consuming red, striking the base of the wooden bridge where it connects to the far side. The impact is immediate and violent. A sharp, crackling spone rouge as the ancient wood instantly ignites, roaring to life with a furious, consuming blaze. The structure groans, then shudders, the flames licking hungrily at the dry, aged timber. With a final, protesting kludge and coxes, the entire bridge gives way. It splinters, collapses, disintegrates in a shower of burning wood and rusty chains, tumbling into the churning lava below. The molten river roars its satisfaction, swallowing the debris in a spectacular display of fire and smoke. The inferno consumes the last vestiges of your passage, leaving behind only a vast, unbridgeable chasm of molten rock and a profound, echoing silence, broken only by the relentless lava. You stand there, chest heaving, the metallic taste of adrenaline potent on your tongue, watching the last of the burning debris vanish. This isn't just about progress. It's about making irreversible choices. Sometimes, the only way forward is to burn the very bridges you used to cross, cutting off all retreat, all pursuit, leaving nothing but a stark, terrifying finality behind you. The air here is heavy, stale, thick with the cloying scent of ancient dust, cold stone, and something faintly reptilian, a subtle musk that raises the hairs on your arms. You push through a massive, ornate wooden door, its hinges groaning in protest, and your heavy boots land on smooth, polished flagstones. You're in a vast, echoing castle chamber, bathed in a perpetual gloom. Gargantuan, unlit torches line the walls, casting grotesque, dancing shadows that seem to stretch and contort with every shift of your weight. The sheer scale of the place is overwhelming, a labyrinth of dark arches and towering ceilings, all constructed from grim gray stone that seems to absorb all light, all hope. A deep, rhythmic rip, drip, drip echoes from somewhere far within the murk, a slow, relentless percussion that marks the passage of time in this desolate fortress. You take a step, and the flagstone under your boot is surprisingly cold, almost icy, leaching the warmth right from your heavy soles. The air feels oppressive, pressing in on you, making your breath feel shallow, heavy. You glance at Luigi beside you. His green cap seems to lose some of its vibrant hue in this pervasive gloom, his face etched with a familiar, weary determination. His hand instinctively goes to his mustache, a subtle, habitual gesture that speaks volumes of his heightened alertness. Then, from the impenetrable darkness at the far end of the chamber, a tiny, almost imperceptible flicker of light. It's not the harsh white of the spiked fortresses, nor the infernal red of the lava worlds. This is a soft, delicate pink glow, pulsating gently, almost tentatively, like a trapped firefly. It seems impossibly out of place, a fragile beacon of warmth and color in this grim, foreboding stronghold. Your eyes, accustomed to the gloom, lock onto it, an instinctive pull towards this unexpected splash of vibrancy. The air around the flicker seems to carry a faint, almost sweet scent, like rose petals mingled with old parchment, a stark contrast to the reptilian musk and cold stone. You and Luigi begin to move, slowly, cautiously, your heavy boots echoing softly on the polished flagstones. Each step feels deliberate, a quiet intrusion into the castle's ancient, brooding silence. The vast, unlit corridors stretch before you, identical in their grimness, a labyrinth of shadows and hidden dangers. You reach out, your gloved hand brushing against a rough, cold stone wall, feeling the pervasive dampness, the faint layers of dust that coat everything. The air grows heavier, thicker with the scent of old stone, as you draw closer to the pink light, your minds racing, trying to anticipate what awaits you. The silence here is not empty. It's a living thing, pregnant with unspoken threats, with the weight of countless forgotten battles. This flickering pink in the castle's murk, it makes you realize that even in the darkest, most formidable places, there are always unexpected glimmers of something fragile, something precious, something worth pursuing. Your daily life isn't just about conquering fortresses or defeating villains. It's also about the relentless search for these small, unexpected sparks of hope, these delicate promises that hint at a larger purpose, a greater reward. And in this immense, foreboding castle, where shadows reign supreme, that tiny, pulsing pink glow becomes more than just a light. It becomes a powerful, undeniable magnet, pulling you deeper into the heart of the darkness, a desperate, unwavering hope that refuses to be extinguished. The pink flicker intensifies. As you and Luigi finally emerge into a smaller circular chamber, the air still thick with ancient dust and that lingering reptilian musk. The source of the light is a colossal, ornate cage, forged from heavy, tarnished iron, its bars thick as tree trunks. Inside, bathed in that soft, ethereal pink glow, is a single, beautiful princess. Her crown, gleaming with forgotten jewels, sits slightly askew on her head, reflecting the faint light. She wears a magnificent gown, a swirl of pink and white, now slightly rumpled and streaked with dust. Her eyes, large and expressive, are wide, fixed directly on you, filled with a raw, desperate hope that cuts straight to your core. She doesn't speak. There's no cry for help, no frantic plea, just that profound, silent gaze, a pure, unadulterated yearning for rescue that communicates everything without a single word. You feel the weight of it, the immense, unspoken expectation, pressing down on your shoulders, heavier than any physical burden you've carried. The air around her, emanating from the cage, carries a faint, sweet perfume, like jasmine and rose, a startling contrast to the grim, cold stone and reptilian scent of the castle. You reach out, your gloved hand instinctively moving towards the cage, feeling the cold, rough iron bars, the sheer, unyielding solidity of her prison. Luigi stands beside you, his green cap pulled low, his own eyes fixed on the princess, a shared sense of grim purpose radiating from his still form. Then, from the shadows in the corner of the chamber, a low, guttural growl erupts, followed by a heavy, deliberate clomp, clomp, clomp of immense, clawed feet on the polished flagstones. The ground trembles, a deep, resonant vibration that rattles the iron cage, making the princess flinch, her gaze flicking nervously towards the sound. You turn, your heart pounding, a fresh surge of adrenaline coursing through your veins. A colossal, shadowy figure, all spikes and brute force, emerges from the murk. Its leathery hide, its fearsome fangs, its malevolent, glowing red eyes. There's no mistaking it. Bowser. His massive, reptilian body fills the space, a living, breathing testament to overwhelming might and raw, destructive power. The air around him shifts, growing thick with the pungent smell of sulfur and fire, a stark contrast to the princess's delicate perfume. He lets out another deafening shriek, a challenge, a declaration of ownership, a thunderous sound that makes the very foundations of the castle seem to shudder. You step forward, instinctively positioning yourself between Bowser and the cage, your stance widening, muscles tensing, ready for the inevitable confrontation. Luigi is right beside you, a silent, unwavering presence, his own eyes now narrowed, fixed on the monstrous foe. The princess, in her cage, watches you both, her silent plea now tinged with a fresh, desperate fear, her pink light flickering almost imperceptibly with each tremor. You feel the immense heat radiating from Bowser, the raw power of his presence, but it's matched by the fierce, unwavering resolve in your own heart. This silent plea, this heavy crown of purpose, it makes you realize that your daily life isn't just a series of individual challenges. It's a continuous, unfolding narrative of sacrifice and unwavering commitment, defined by the profound weight of responsibility you carry. The princess, trapped and vulnerable, represents not just a person, but a promise, a beacon of hope for an entire kingdom. And in this moment, facing down the ultimate foe, you understand that your strength isn't just in your jumps or your fireballs, but in your unshakable dedication to that purpose, in your willingness to confront unimaginable evil for the sake of a silent plea. The air here is thick, cloying, carrying the heavy, pervasive scent of ancient decay. Deep, damp mold, rusted iron, and an unsettling metallic tang that suggests old, dried blood. You push through a low, arched doorway of rough-hewn stone, your heavy boots landing with a muffled crunch on loose, wet grit. The cold here isn't just chill. It's a penetrating, absolute frigidity that seems to leach the warmth directly from your bones, seeping through your thick overalls and into your very core. The gloom is total, an oppressive, suffocating darkness that absorbs even the faintest residual light from the passage behind you. Your eyes strain, fighting a losing battle against the profound blackness, a blind struggle against an unseen enemy. Then you hear it. From somewhere deep within the impenetrable maze of stone, a low, rhythmic thump, thump, thump. It's not an echo, not a natural sound. This is a deliberate, heavy cadence, slow and insistent, like a colossal, unseen heart beating in the earth itself. It vibrates through the stone floor, through your boots, rattling your teeth with its deep resonance, a persistent, chilling drumbeat of fear. The air around you, thick with decay, seems to pulse with this sound, growing heavier, colder, laden with an unspoken dread. Luigi, a phantom presence beside you, subtly shifts his weight, his green cap barely discernible in the murk, his silence a stark confirmation of the growing, shared apprehension. You take a tentative step forward, your boots sliding slightly on the damp, uneven grit. The ceiling is low, rough, dripping with cold, viscous moisture that occasionally lands on your cap, a chilling reminder of the oppressive confinement. You reach out, your gloved hand brushing against the slimy, ancient stone wall, feeling the cold, wet grit of its surface. The passage ahead is impossibly narrow, twisting sharply into further, consuming darkness, a literal maw of the dungeon. The rhythmic thump, thump, thump intensifies, growing louder, closer, the drumbeat now sounding less like a distant pulse, and more like a heavy, deliberate tread, steadily, relentlessly advancing towards you. Your breath catches in your throat, a shallow, desperate gasp in the suffocating air. The metallic tang in your mouth grows stronger, the taste of pure, unadulterated fear. You press back against the cold, damp wall, instinctively trying to make yourself smaller, less visible, though you know it's futile in this absolute dark. The sound is now a visceral presence, a relentless, powerful rhythm that seems to override all other senses, compressing time, forcing all your focus onto its impending arrival. You try to discern shapes in the blackness, any hint of what creates such a terrifying, deliberate sound, but the darkness is a living, breathing entity, impenetrable and absolute. Luigi's hand brushes your arm in the dark, a brief, reassuring contact, but his own breathing is shallow, ragged, mirroring your fear. This dungeon maw, with its chilling drumbeat of fear, it makes you realize that sometimes the greatest terror isn't a sudden ambush or a grand battle, but the insidious, psychological torment of an unseen, relentlessly approaching threat. Your daily life isn't just about fighting monsters. It's about enduring the slow, agonizing buildup of dread, about confronting the profound, paralyzing fear of the unknown that lurks in the deepest, darkest corners of the world and within your own mind. And in this suffocating, inky blackness, with the relentless drumbeat shaking your very core, you understand that your strength isn't just in your jump or your fire, but in your sheer, stubborn refusal to be consumed by the fear itself, to keep moving forward even when every instinct screams for you to simply lie down and surrender to the terrifying rhythmic darkness. The rhythmic thump-thump-thump is right on top of you now, a bone-jarring vibration that makes your teeth ache. The cold, damp dungeon air pressing in, thick with the smell of decay and the metallic tang of fear. You press back against the clammy stone wall, every muscle tense, your heart hammering a frantic drum against your ribs. The absolute blackness makes your eyes feel useless, straining against an impenetrable curtain. Luigi is a solid, silent presence beside you, his presence a small comfort against the overwhelming dread. Suddenly, a shift in the air, a quick, violent expulsion of hot, foul breath, carries the overwhelming scent of sulfur and raw, reptilian musk directly into your face. Simultaneously, a blinding flash of orange light erupts, searing your retinas, illuminating a colossal, grotesque face adorned with wicked fangs and malevolent, glowing red eyes. Bowser. He fills the entire narrow passage, his immense, spiked shell scraping against the rough stone walls, sending a shower of sparks and crumbling grit cascading down. He's right there, impossibly close, his eyes blazing with pure, unadulterated fury, his massive head cocked, a low, guttural growl rumbling deep in his chest. The rhythmic thump-thump-thump was his heavy, deliberate march, leading to this inevitable reckoning. There's no time for thought, no room for hesitation. Pure, primal instinct takes over. Before Bowser can unleash his fiery breath, before he can even fully articulate his roar, you move. It's a practiced, explosive burst of energy. You drop low, your heavy boots skidding on the wet grit, and then you launch yourself upwards, a powerful, almost desperate leap that sends you soaring. The air rushes past, thick with Bowser's sulphurous breath, and for a fleeting gravity-defying moment, you're airborne, a red and blue blur against the sudden, hellish orange glow of his open maw. Your heavy boots connect with the rough, spiked surface of his shell with a deeply satisfying teet-teet, a jarring impact that travels up your legs and into your very core. Bowser roars, a deafening, frustrated bellow of pain and surprise that echoes through the narrow dungeon, shaking the very foundations. He lurches, a massive, involuntary spasm, his colossal body scraping violently against the stone walls, sending more sparks and crumbling rock flying. You land lightly, your boots finding precarious purchase on his rough, unyielding shell. But you don't stay. With another quick, powerful leap, you spring from his back, a human cannonball of sheer force, aiming for the single, vital point. Your trajectory is precise, honed by countless battles, by a lifetime of knowing exactly where to strike. Your fist connects with the ancient, massive axe switch, forged from crude, pitted iron, with a resounding metallic Doc Pion Doc Scrike. The sound is deafening, a final, definitive stroke that echoes through the confined space. The ground beneath you shudders violently, a deep, earth-shattering tremor that makes the entire dungeon groan in protest. The air fills with the smell of scorched metal and rapidly collapsing stone. With a final, desperate roar, Bowser is gone. The floor beneath him, directly over a churning pit of fire, gives way with a spectacular, fiery scrack, swallowing him whole in a cascade of collapsing stone, fire, and smoke. The inferno below flares violently, then settles, leaving only the sound of roaring flames and the acrid smell of his defeat. You stand there, chest heaving, the metallic taste of adrenaline potent on your tongue, watching the last of the fiery debris vanish into the pit. This is it. The reckoning, forged in brick and blood. You realize that your daily life is a constant, unyielding cycle of confrontation and consequence, where every step, every jump, every strike, leads to an inevitable climax. The acrid smell of burnt scales and sulfur still hangs heavy in the air, slowly dissipating into the cold, damp stone of the dungeon. The roaring inferno from the pit below, once a deafening presence, has settled into a low, continuous rumble, a distant, subdued growl of defeat. You stand on the crumbling edge of the pit, your chest heaving, the metallic taste of adrenaline potent on your tongue, watching the last of the smoke curl upwards into the gloom. The profound silence that follows Bowser's final roar is not empty. It's a heavy, echoing void, a sudden, almost disorienting absence of the familiar chaos. You turn, your heavy boots scuffing on the gritty, wet stone. Luigi is there, a few paces back, his green cap pulled low, his shoulders slumped in exhaustion. He looks at you, his eyes wide, a shared weariness etched onto his face. There's no triumphant shout, no celebratory gesture, just a silent, profound understanding passing between you, a wordless acknowledgement of the immense effort, the sheer will it took to reach this point. His breath comes in ragged gasps, mirroring your own, a testament to the brutal, physical toll of the battle. The persistent chill of the dungeon, which had been a backdrop to the heat of the fight, now asserts itself, making your sweat-dampened overalls feel clammy and cold. You walk towards the ornate iron cage, its heavy bars still gleaming with the faint, ethereal pink glow of the princess within. The ground under your boots feels solid, unwavering, a comforting stability after the shaking ground and crumbling edges of moments ago. With each step, the overwhelming weight of the battle, the frantic adrenaline, begins to recede, leaving behind a profound sense of quiet relief. The lingering scent of sulfur gives way to the faint, sweet perfume of jasmine and rose emanating from the cage, a delicate, fragile counterpoint to the dungeon's grim decay. You reach the cage, your gloved hand brushing against the cold, unyielding iron bars. Inside, the princess watches you, her large, expressive eyes still wide, but now filled with an undeniable, shimmering light of hope and gratitude. She offers a small, tentative smile, a fragile blossom of joy in this desolate place. Her pink light seems to brighten, pulsating with a renewed, gentle warmth. You feel the profound satisfaction, the deep, quiet sense of accomplishment that comes with fulfilling your purpose, with bringing this long, arduous journey to its inevitable, hard-won conclusion. The exhaustion is still there, deep in your bones, but it's tempered by this powerful, internal sense of peace. This echo of defeat, this profound silence of relief, it makes you realize that your daily life isn't just about the constant fight, but about these fleeting, precious moments of earned peace, these hard-won pauses after the storm. It's a testament to the human spirit, this unwavering dedication to a cause, to a silent plea, that carries you through unimaginable peril. And in this moment, standing before the freed princess, feeling the quiet satisfaction of a purpose fulfilled, you understand that these moments of victory, however brief, are what truly sustain you, what remind you of the profound value of your tireless efforts, again and again, even when the world seems determined to keep you locked in a perpetual struggle. The heavy iron door of the cage groans as you pull it open, the sound echoing through the cold, damp dungeon. A faint, almost imperceptible creak from the massive hinges, a sound of release, a quiet counterpoint to the distant, subdued rumble of the lava pit. The princess steps out, her magnificent pink gown swirling softly around her, momentarily catching the dim, ethereal light from the unlit torches. She doesn't rush, doesn't stumble. Her movements are graceful, deliberate, as if savoring each step of newfound freedom. A faint, sweet perfume, like jasmine and rose, emanates from her, cutting through the lingering scent of ash and reptilian musk, a delicate breath of fresh air in this grim place. You feel her touch, a light, almost ethereal pressure on your gloved hand, a brief, silent squeeze of gratitude that sends a subtle warmth through your entire arm. Her eyes, large and expressive, meet yours, brimming with an unspoken thanks, a profound sense of relief that needs no words. Luigi stands a few paces back, his green cap pulled low, his shoulders still visibly slumped from the battle, but his face is softened, a faint, tired smile touching his lips as he watches the princess. The air in the chamber, once heavy with tension, now feels lighter, almost buoyant, as if the very stone is exhaling a collective sigh of relief. The cold, which had been so pervasive, seems to recede just a little, replaced by a subtle, comforting warmth that emanates from the princess's presence. You turn to the princess, offering a slight, reassuring nod. She returns it, a tiny, almost shy gesture, and then her gaze shifts, sweeping over the grim gray walls of the dungeon, lingering on the fiery pit where Bowser met his temporary end. A flicker of something, not fear, but a profound sadness, a deep weariness, passes through her eyes before she consciously pulls her gaze away, refocusing on you, her expression firming with a quiet resolve. It's a silent vow, understood between you all. The battle is won, for now, but the threat, the underlying darkness, always remains. The exhaustion, which had been held at bay by adrenaline, now truly begins to set in, a heavy weight in your muscles, a dull throb behind your eyes. Your overalls, still damp with sweat and gritty with dust, feel heavier, clinging to your skin. The metallic taste of adrenaline fades, leaving behind only the simple, earthy taste of dry mouth and weariness. You glance at Luigi again. He catches your eye, a mutual acknowledgement of the long journey, the brief victory, and the inevitable return. He points with his chin towards an ornate, solid wooden door at the far end of the chamber, a silent invitation to move forward, to finally leave this place of darkness. This moment of respite, this unbroken vow, it makes you realize that your daily life isn't just a series of individual victories, but a continuous cycle of release and recommitment. The princess is safe for now, but the world is vast and full of unpredictable dangers, of new dungeons and different threats that always seem to reappear. You understand that this moment of triumph, this profound relief, is a fleeting reward, a necessary pause before the next inevitable challenge. Your strength isn't just in overcoming the current evil, but in your unshakable dedication to an unbroken vow, a silent promise to protect, to rescue, to keep fighting, again and again, even when the weariness threatens to consume you. And in that unwavering commitment, you find the true, enduring purpose of your unending journey.